What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Kamen Rider news and reviews, ladies and gentlemen, here every weekend for you guys. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. Early happy holidays, everybody, as we are here to certainly go ahead and break down the Christmas special to Dino Fury, the very last episode of season 1. We also got some really great news in regards to Boom Studios and an IDW crossover event that's certainly happening, and a bunch of tokusatsu news for you guys also to go ahead and wrap up really the last episode of the new year when it comes to A-Plus More Phenomenal before we hit you guys once again with coming back on New Year's Day, honestly, to be perfectly honest with you guys. So should be a fun episode, guys. So bring your holiday spirit. Hopefully everybody's certainly getting ready for Christmas, or however you certainly celebrate your holidays, whether you do Kwanzaa or whatever the case may be, guys. It's pretty cool to I love the holidays. I truly do. Christmas is probably one of my favorite times of the year. Christmas and then Thanksgiving, because I love to eat and I love football, so it's a great combination. But I absolutely love it, guys. So thank you very much for certainly joining us here, and hopefully not everybody's doing last minute Christmas shopping as yours truly. I feel like it sneaks up on me each and every year, man. I got to get better about this. I know some people that will all year long will find an item or two and maybe purchase it and put it away for the holiday season sort of thing. I need to get on their level. I truly do. But thank you very much, guys, for spending your weekend here with us. You could be clearly doing it other things this weekend, but thank you very much for certainly spending your time here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's in our live chat today. Let's see what's going on here. Give some shout outs to people that have taken their day to go ahead and hang out with us. And guys, remember, especially if you're in the live chat, if you continue to come back each and every week, if you love the content that we're dishing out, hit that like button, guys. It definitely does go a long way, along with leaving a comment maybe towards the end or after this particular video winds up airing. Let's see here. We got Koala in the house. What's going on, Koala? Frankie, thank you very much. He says, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Same to you, man. I got a birthday that's right around the corner here rather soon. Matthew, happy holidays to you, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, my birthday's on the 30th of December. I'm definitely one of those babies growing up that got the opportunity, at least when I was younger, to enjoy the idea of two different days to celebrate. Christmas lists, birthday lists, right? It was fantastic. As I got older, though, they start combining. They start combining as you get older. So there's benefits and disadvantages as you get older. Enrique, what's going on, man? Thank you very much for certainly coming through today. We got Charles in the house. Merry Christmas from Jamaica, Kingston. What's up, man? Hopefully you're enjoying yourself over there. Thank you very much for certainly coming through. AJ More Phenomenal, certainly in the house. We got Blossom in here also. Edward Sanchez Production certainly joining us in here. Power Rangers Ready says, Happy Holidays. Congrats on 1K subs. I know, man. I was not expecting it. I mentioned it last weekend that we were so close to 1,000 subscribers. And by the end of the weekend, I look up and we've got over 1,000. So I really appreciate you guys certainly coming through and showing your continued support each and every week. It really does go a long way. Like the idea of you liking our videos, commenting, sharing our videos, especially if you love this content, guys, and you want to share it with the world, let it grow, guys. Feel free to share along with everybody else. So thank you very much. Datilla certainly in the house. We got Jared. What's up, Jared? Thank you very much, man. He says season 1 in the books. Oh, happy holidays. Same to you, man. Thank you very much. We got Byron in here also. He says, I'm 22 today. Happy holidays, man. Right before Christmas. So I hope I am kind of curious to know how you celebrate your birthday being so close to New Year's and Christmas also. We got Harka in here. Thank you very much. DHR2. He says, first off, congrats on the 1,000 subs. And second, not into the holiday specials because they don't really matter to me, my honest opinion. Hey, you know what? They're not for everybody. They're not for everybody. But I certainly enjoyed what we wind up getting in here for certainly what it was. I don't really go into holiday specials with much expectations, just to kind of see how are they going to do something different this year? How are they going to pull off the story? I usually get a kick to kind of see how they really merge everything together, because it's usually a clip show, usually a small little storyline and some holiday celebration. So I'm usually always pretty intrigued. Trent, what's going on, Trent? He says, goodbye, Nickelodeon. That's your Christmas present, obviously. JB says, what is in the house too? Thank you very much. My mom, thanks a lot, Mom, for coming through. She said, yeah, my presents better already be coming to the house. They're making their way. they're making their way. Santa's a little bit busy this year. I don't know if you heard, but there's a blockage and stuff when it comes to products out there. So it may take some time, Mom, but it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. And then who else we got in here? Johnny Marrero, certainly in the house. Thank you very much. Marcelino Vasquez is in the house. Thank you as well. And of course, we got Emmanuel certainly coming through, ladies and gentlemen. JB says, Wes says, this Christmas episode was cringe for me because I don't do Santa. I'm curious, do you celebrate Christmas in another way? I know not everybody certainly celebrates Christmas, so I'm always intrigued to see how you guys celebrate yours. Isaiah, thank you very much, Isaiah, for certainly coming through as well. We really do appreciate it. Power Rangers Ready says, I hope you like the present I got you, Adam. I'm a little worried. AJ, to be honest with you now. But thank you very much, guys, for certainly spending your weekend and afternoon with us. We got a big show, man. A big show to certainly get into. So I guess without further ado, we should start diving. Oh, before we dive in, I do have a little bit of an announcement here to make. Two announcements real quick. The second part to our Dino Fury Awards will in fact be in 2 weeks. Our very first show certainly coming back, going ahead and kicking off that January. We will in fact be having round 2 of our nominations, who won for best of for the second half of season 1, because at the end of all of Dino Fury, we're going to take part 1, part 2 of season 1, part 1, part 2 of season 2. It'll give us 4 nominations for each category, and then we will in fact be voting. So if anything, I'm probably going to be rewatching the second half of the first season over this holiday break that I'm taking. And then of course we will be presenting you with our best of for the second half of season 1. So you can definitely expect that when we come back in January. It just hit me that January 1st literally will be the first episode here. So New Year's Day, we'll be having a live episode of A+ Morphinominal. But because it is, in fact, the holidays still technically, one, we'll see how hungover I am if I make it through the New Year's Eve. So if anything, maybe we might push it back a little bit. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because we communicate with you guys over on our community tab in regards to any channel updates or any changes to the show that certainly might be happening. So definitely when we come back in January, we definitely will be doing the second half of the award show for season 1. Second announcement here, guys, I made a big investment. I don't really do this very often, but because of the fact the holidays have been really great to me, especially in regards to my work and putting a little bit of money aside sort of thing, I wanted to splurge for myself. I don't really do that very often, honestly. I don't remember the last time I bought myself, outside of maybe like a Star Wars novel, I don't know the last time that I actually bought myself sort of like a movie, a video game, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't, a collectible, I don't really splurge on things like that. But I've been mentioning it ever since they went ahead and announced the Zord Ascension project. And guys, I pulled the trigger. My wallet wasn't the happiest, but I pulled the trigger as of recent. I don't believe it actually drops until August of next year, so I certainly did have to go ahead and get ahead of the crowd and pre-order it. But I decided to go ahead and do it. You guys, I've been mentioning a long time that when it comes to the Lightning Collection stuff, I've been wanting to go ahead and maybe start collecting some things. I've been mentioning, especially when it comes to the action figures, like, oh, those are pretty cool. Oh, those are something I would certainly want. But it just, nothing really screamed at me. You know what I mean? And so I never really pulled the trigger in regards to it. But ever since I saw the Zord Ascension project, I've fallen in love with it, man. Just the attention to detail, just the concept and the idea alone that this is just the first of plenty other Zords that are certainly coming their way. And I always thought it would make a fantastic and phenomenal just centerpiece, whether that be in my office or just in the household in general. So I pulled the trigger, guys. My wallet is $169 less than what it certainly was. It yelled at me a couple times. It threw some credit cards at me. My driver's license hit me in the eyeball. It was pissed. But I did it anyway. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I don't feel bad. I don't feel guilty about my purchase. Again, I don't really make big purchases like this. So I decided to go ahead and spoil myself for once in regards to this. And don't worry, guys. I'm still, honestly, it's a holiday spirit, right? It's about giving to other people. Don't worry. I'm going to get my presents ready for everybody else. All right. But this has just been eyeballing me ever since it was announced. I told you guys I was thinking about pulling the trigger. And it came to the point I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I've got me a Zap. I've got me a Zap certainly headed my way here this upcoming August. So I'm really looking forward to it. And if you guys have pre-ordered it at all, I definitely want to go ahead and let you. I would be curious to know whether or not you guys picked it up. If that's something that you even decided to go ahead and check out for yourself. um JB says how much was it? It was about 169 before taxes, so it came out to like 170 something dollars if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's going to be worth it. I felt like it wasn't too over the top in regards to the pricing for it. It felt relatively reasonable for the scale size and things like that from some of the attention, the details that they've been showing. So yeah, I thought, why not, let me go ahead and knock it out. So you know what? I did it. I did it. So we'll see. Once it comes in, I'll probably do a whole unboxing for you guys, a whole live maybe presentation and things like that. So definitely some content to definitely look forward to. All right, guys. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into Dino Fury episode number 22. Christmas special. This is the Secret Santa one, honestly. So look, like I said before at the top, when it comes to Christmas specials, when it comes to holiday specials, I don't expect too much. I really don't. It's the traditional clip show with trying to figure out how do we include this theme with the storyline that we're certainly trying to tackle, right? They usually don't take themselves too seriously. But there are certainly aspects about this episode, and because it's the holiday spirit and Christmas is always one of my favorites, there are aspects of this episode that just gave me warm, fuzzy feelings. Like I can't lie. First and foremost, the opportunity to see Chance Perez get an opportunity to shine here as Javi in regards to really showcasing his real life skill, which is in fact music, whether that be playing instruments, whether that be singing. The fact that he gets the opportunity to really be front and center to go ahead and sing some Christmas songs, some Christmas carols, and things like that. I thought it was really cool to go ahead and open up the episode in here and also finish the episode with Chance Perez doing a little bit of his singing, even the opportunity of hearing the entire group sing Christmas song towards the end also, trying to pick out everybody's significant voice, who's really singing, who's just mouthing the words, you know what I'm saying, like who's trying to hide behind the great voices on the team, you know what I'm saying. So I always I always definitely wasn't expecting that type of holiday cheer, but I absolutely loved it. I also love the fact that Chance feels very much like me, or I should say, Hobby feels very much like me. Always the last minute Christmas present buyer sort of thing, right? And I love the fact that we get to see this immediate moment between um, Izzy and Javi about the idea, like, how could you forget Amelia's group calendar with reminders for the past 2 months? It feels very much like Amelia. Like, clearly, when it comes to Amelia, maybe Halloween and Christmas are probably her two favorite holidays. The fact that she's had this reminder on there for 2 months alone for this Secret Santa moment, I think speaks volumes in regards to her priorities when it comes to holidays. So the fact that she is big into the supernatural and stuff, clearly she really loves probably really loves the Halloween season. But the fact that she's on top of it when it comes to Christmas also, absolutely love it. And how does Hunter Dino continue to be just the most adorable thing all the time in this show? I mean, I don't know who does her fashion. I don't know who's the person that picks out all her clothing, but honestly, she always stands out to me in every episode, whether that's just what she's wearing. They just have her always dolled up in like the most adorable outfits each and every week, man. Just stunning. Hunter Dino certainly is. But so I thought that was pretty funny in regards to at least the concept of Amelia having a group calendar. And even the concept of a magical sketchbook here this week, as we get to see Javi really not having an idea of what he wants to go ahead and get his Secret Santa. You always want to make those Christmas presents special, come from the heart, something original sort of thing. And Javi's having a really tough time in this episode trying to figure something out. And Santa winds up introducing us to his magical sketchbook, which, mind you, I will say this, shout out to Blossom for hitting me up in regards to the live viewer questions here this week. Because she did, in fact, she says, did you see Santa's magic sketchbook? Was a Kara Major reference to Juru in there also. And at first, when I watched the episode, I didn't even think about that until I read L'Oreal's question. Or at least comment. It feels very much like a Kara Major nod. I don't know if this was meant to be certainly that, but the idea of literally having a sketchbook where Santa mentions, you can draw anything, throw a little bit of a magical dust on it or whatever the case may be, and it comes to life. Whereas when it comes to Kara Major, that's pretty much what Juru had, right? The idea of having a sketchbook, being able to draw it out instead of magic. It was his own sort of level of imagination, if you will, his own level of creativity. Whatever he could literally think up and create certainly came to life. And so when she referenced that, I'm like, holy crap. I don't know if that's a Kara Major reference or not, but they definitely took that idea for sure. So shout out to Kara Major here, getting some love in this week's episode of Dino Fear. Again, may not have even been a thought when it comes to Simon Bennett and the writers, but it is one of those things that's like, yeah, that's totally on point. That's totally on point. But overall, not too bad of an episode, man. I mean, look, for what it was okay, I guess. It was just another, I will say this, it was just another Christmas special that actually made me feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy than I probably am used to. A couple things that we definitely have to talk about. Real quick honorable mention for Mucus and Slither. They're back. I kind of wish that they explained how they wind up escaping the dark dimension, maybe in another episode, but honestly, with the Power Ranger sort of track record that we have, not everything certainly gets explained from time to time, right? That's just like, hey, they're back, they're here. Always great to certainly see Mucus and Slither back. So maybe it is something that they will explore come season 2. Maybe the first episode, they'll explain how they wind up returning or whatever the case may be. But in this, it clearly wasn't important. Clearly, the idea and the concept of Christmas certainly came first. But this team went ahead and managed to get a bomb inside of the command center in the form of a gift. And this was the fun aspect for me in regards to seeing what each character would certainly get each other, right? Like, I think when it comes to the Halloween special, I think my anticipation, if there is anything for these type of specials, is Halloween. What are the costume selections going to be, right? Christmas, what are the gifts going to be towards each other? Because I do think those are the type of things that really speak volumes, and to see just how well each ranger certainly knows each other. So when we come into this episode, Solon and Javi are in fact well, that's really where the main storyline is. They're both sort of each other's secret Santa in here. Javi's first mindset to go to gloves because Santa recommended them. I gotta just say, wow. Like, I'm just kind of floored that Javi truly can have some blonde moments from time to time, right? Like, this is literally right off the heels of, I wonder why Void Knight needs so much power. Maybe because the summer's coming up, he needs it to work his AC unit. Like, really, Javi? Really, Javi? Like, we're in the middle of like a serious discussion, man, and you really think that's the reason why he wants all this power in these sporks after all this time? And gloves for Solon, a mechanical slash cyborg dinosaur that's got 3 hands, and for some reason you just happen to forget that and you get him gloves sort of thing. Like, wow, Javi. Wow. Like, I didn't know Javi's character was going to be the dunce of this season, honestly. Like, I didn't see that coming. But he definitely has his moments. He definitely has his moments for sure. But I thought their gifts to each other at the end of the day were rather thoughtful, right? The idea of Solon's gift, giving Javi the missing key that he needed to his keyboard. I thought that was actually really freaking cool. The fact that she literally like made it, I think it was like rather unique, because I think Javi mentions the fact that they no longer made that key anymore. I don't know how that works. but super thoughtful when it comes to Solon. And really, the idea that when it comes to Solon and it comes to Christmas, that she winds up getting rather nervous when it comes to singing Christmas carols because of the fact that she winds up forgetting all the songs, right? So the idea that Javi decides, hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you my Christmas Carol songbook, I think goes a really long way. Super thoughtful. And in the future now, Solon doesn't have to be nervous about celebrating Christmas to its fullest potential. So I thought that were really cool gifts that they wind up giving each other. And then when it comes to the other gifts in here, pretty cool too. Electronics kit, clearly from Ollie to Izzy. And then this is where they get you with the recaps, with the brief moments from what happened in the rest of Dino Fury, because of these particular moments. The ghost poncho from Amelia to Ollie, I thought was hilarious. I absolutely love it. And if I could be honest, I find it interesting too. And guys, this is going to go back to my Amelia and Ollie shipping. The fact that they are really outside of Solon and Javi, which the episode surrounded itself, those are the only two that actually were focused on in regards to exchanging their gifts. We don't see Ollie handing the gift to Izzy. We don't see Zato handing his gift to Ion, sort of thing, or yeah, and other things like that. The only other two people that get a gift exchange in this episode is Amelia to Ollie in regards to the ghost poncho. So, he's like, I hope I don't run into any ghost hunters the rest of the time, which I thought was pretty funny. But, I look, maybe it's a stretch for me, guys, but I continue to think that there's something there, man. There's something there. The way that Amelia kind of looked at him, sort of thing. I mean, look, it is the holiday spirits, right? So maybe everybody's just in a really great and friendly sort of mood type of thing. But I do find it interesting that they are the only two that we get to see gifts exchanged in this episode. The other gifts, we get Flargon ice cream from Zato to Ion. Clearly his love for ice cream. Zato now is making homemade ice cream for him. Apparently a delicacy over on Ravcon. So yeah, to each their own, I guess. I will say this. Look, Hasbro, if you're looking for something to market, I don't know if you guys are going to get into the ice cream game anytime, but maybe you should collaborate with like Ben and Jerry's to make a Flargon ice cream, like a special, like a limited time edition. Like, I don't know why I got to do the marketing heavy lifting for Hasbro here and coming up with these sweet ass ideas. Ben and Jerry's, Bluebell, like, can I get just a limited time only Flargon ice cream? I would love to honestly taste it for myself. So yeah, royalties, guys. I want some royalties for that idea. And then we wind up getting the hand stitch punching bag and shirt that said Izzy's gym on it. That was from Izzy to Zato. And we got reminded of that freaking numbskull of a gym coach that tried to take everybody out of their money. Like, I hope she got coal. I hope she got some damn coal in her stocking for Christmas, maybe even some jail time. So we'll see how that goes. And it did not occur to me until after all these gifts were ripped apart and opened up by Solon and Javi as they're trying to find, like, what gift did Mucus sneak into the command center. It didn't hit me until after they were like, this is the last one. I'm like, last one? We're missing one, guys. Like, where's Amelia's gift? It clicked for me. Ion is Amelia's secret Santa. And because of the fact that Ion has no idea what he's doing, Amelia gets stuck with the power sander. I was like, what? Like, of all the things, like the one person that loves Christmas, that has had a group reminder to have your secret Santa gifts ready, the one that looks the most adorable, most in the holiday spirit, Amelia gets a power sander. I had to laugh. But you know what? It's not about the gift. It's the thought that certainly counts, right? And I'm sure Amelia has no problem with it. I think she's holding it at the end and she shows it to Solon and she's like, I mean, look, she's taking it for certainly what it is. At least he was thoughtful enough to attempt to try and get something. But it did make me laugh at the idea. Like, I don't know why the Rangers expected this man to know who Santa is. The fact that he's an alien from another planet. I mean, clearly Zato picked up relatively early. But it's just hilarious when literally Santa's plastered on everything. Like, I love the scene when Ollie literally walks up to the Christmas tree and he just points to the old man with the beard, like, this guy, you see him everywhere, bro. Like, this is Santa. But yeah, I don't know why they expect him to know that when he's literally been on Earth for what, like a month or so. He's got no idea what he's doing. So he's like, "Oh, I thought you said Secret Sander." He's like, "No wonder the guy at the workshop or something looked at me weird, sort of thing." So I got a good laugh out of that. I got a really good laugh out of that, honestly. But it just made me laugh out of all the people that you would think who's ready to celebrate Christmas the most, Amelia. She's the one that gets stuck with that Secret Santa gift. But yeah, again, I don't think Amelia truly minded anyway at the end of the day. But yeah, do you guys do Secret Santas at all? Have you maybe even done, what do they call them? What are they? What was it, a white elephant? Chris White Christmas, what, white elephant, is that what they call it, where it's like everybody in their group will purchase just like a random item, and you put your hand in the bag and you pull it out, and the gift that you pick out is the one that you're stuck with. But then somebody else, when they pick out their gift, if they don't like it, they can like take yours and like exchange it, sort of thing, and now you're stuck with that sort of gift. I think that's a, was that a white elephant? I could be wrong. If that's the name of the game, go ahead and certainly let me know. Look, I've done both Secret Santas and the white elephant stuff. I prefer the Secret Santa because I remember one year I did the white elephant. I think that's what it's called. I feel like I'm butchering that, but yeah, white elephant. Thank you very much, JB. Um, I the one year that I did a white elephant, I got stuck with the coffee mug that said spa day. And it was like a girl in like a towel with like her hot cocoa and stuff. I'm like, I got stuck with it. Like, it wasn't even the one that I picked out, but like somebody wanted the gift that I had, and I got stuck with a spa day mug for my white elephant gift. So I try to avoid those when out of all possible. But they're really fun to play. They're really fun to play if you're trying to get a really good laugh out of it, honestly. But I'm kind of curious to know how you guys celebrate Christmas at your house. If you do any kind of fun games or any of those kind of cool things. Also, Matthew says Coach Bella equals stocking full of coal. Yeah, absolutely. I did find it funny too that Javi mentions to Izzy, because Izzy's like, Would you get somebody leave you some coal?" And he's like, "No, not like when you did when I was 11 years old." That's brutal, man. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I mean, unless you just been a badass kid like all season long, and like your parents really want to go ahead and show you a lesson, right? Like that how you behave certainly matters, right? I can't imagine the idea of waking up one day and like looking in my stocking and it's just legit coal. Like I can't imagine. Like I would probably just break out and cry, sort of thing. So, but look, that's siblings for you, right? That's sibling rivalry when it comes to Izzy and Javi also. So, again, nothing groundbreaking or ground shattering in this episode. I felt like, if anything, maybe the Halloween special maybe even handled some of the clips a little bit better. But for me, when it comes to Christmas in here, I think we all walked in knowing what we were going to get, but I think there's a lot more anticipation, I think, if anything, in regards to the gifts, right? What are some of the gifts that are certainly going to be given out? Yeah, that's what certainly did it for me in here. So if anything, I continue to like the idea that to them Santa is just real, right? That he's just there. He's just hanging out in Pine Ridge and doing his thing, and Javi's just talking to him like he's just a regular person, believing every single word that he says when he's talking about the elves and how his things are made, and Mrs. Claus and stuff. Santa, the Power Rangers just push out the idea Santa Claus is a real person, and I think that's pretty cool, especially when it comes to kid. I'm sorry if I did ruin that for you guys. I apologize. Santa is real. Santa is real. Okay, just to clarify. But parents do help. Parents do help. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I do like the way that they kind of handle it, and it does give me Christmas vibes, man. It puts me in the mood. I feel like I've been watching Christmas movies every now and then. I feel like so far I've watched Elf, Jingle All the Way, Home Alone's 1 and 2 so far. There's plenty more for me to definitely go ahead and tackle. Like my tradition, I love to watch the Christmas Carol. Excuse me, Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. That's definitely a classic. And then of course, oldie but goodie. It gets me all the time. If you haven't watched it, I believe It's a black and white movie, but it may be in color if you guys feel weird about watching a black and white movie. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. I wasn't the biggest fan of it growing up as a kid, but it is something that I think as I got older, I definitely appreciate it a little bit more, especially with its themes and the lessons that it's really trying to tell you, sort of thing. So those are two classics that I like to kind of go back and certainly watch. A couple other ones I definitely want to go ahead and check out. Polar Express, I feel like, has been making its way onto my list. I haven't watched Scrooged with Bill Murray in years, and I am wondering if it's something I should certainly go back and check out for myself. But yeah, there's a Christmas with the Cranks. I think I was introduced to that like maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, and it's become a classic for me also. So yeah. Look, I get Datilla says she was a fan of this episode for sure. And listen, I certainly didn't mind it. I definitely didn't mind it whatsoever. I definitely did what it was supposed to do. And honestly, that was get me into the holiday spirit. And so I appreciate Simon Bennett, the entire cast for being amazing all season long, along with the great writers for doing just a marvelous job with this season, honestly, guys. So let's see what you guys are saying in regards to this week's episode. As always, these are just simply my A plus opinions, but I always want to go ahead and know yours. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular episode. Let's see here. Enrique, he says the ending scene of Dino Fury episode 22 was amazing. That the Rangers and Santa singing together. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a. I definitely was not expecting a sing along towards the end of this, but I guess with Javi, with Chance Perez having that kind of musical talent, maybe it's something I should have expected. But yeah, I definitely was not expecting it. But I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. Emmanuel says, "Happy 2022 to your family, man. How's going to prepare for Noah's B Day next year?" Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. I mean, I feel like when it comes to babies' first Christmases or first, well, this technically will be Noah's first Christmas, which is crazy to even think about. So I'm pretty sure we'll probably get him in some Christmas clothes and get him into the spirit too, even though he has no idea what the hell is going on outside of maybe looking at the big lights that we're probably going to be having. But you usually like that first year, the child never remembers it anyway, but it's usually a big thing, I feel like if anything, it's probably more for the parents and for the family to celebrate, than it is more or less the child. And I think maybe that clearly probably changes as the years certainly go by. But I'm expecting it to be big anyway. I mean, look, my girlfriend's Mexican, so they do things big when it comes to parties and celebrations anyway. So I'm honestly expecting something huge, not like quinceañera sort of level, but I mean, damn, we had a baby shower, and her uncle from Colorado literally came down and brought his food truck catering business down and literally was like making tacos, quesadillas, I mean, hamburgers. I mean, they got like a freaking tent put up. I mean, it felt like a fucking wedding reception. It was unbelievable. The lengths that they certainly will go. So yeah, I'm sure baby Noah's first birthday will be something pretty big. Jab Jab, what's up, Jab Jab? Thank you very much for certainly coming through. We got Adam Perea in the house too. Thank you very much for certainly coming through. The A Games 10, what's going on, man? He says it's been a journey. Last Power Ranger episode to air on TV. Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about, right? Like this is the last time it'll be on like syndicated or cable television for Power Rangers. That it's truly going full on streaming these days. It's definitely end of an era, and for some people a very early Christmas present. So yeah, for sure. I live tweeted it this morning as my final live tweet in general. Even cried sarcastically, "Goodbye, Nickelodeon." Yeah, goodbye, Nickelodeon for sure. But yeah, that's a good point, man. Really thinking about it, this is its last time on actual syndicated television, which is kind of crazy to think about. Let's see here. Power Rangers Ray says I was a big fan of the Xmas episode, much better than previous Christmas clip show in my opinion. Yeah, I will definitely give it to you for sure. I definitely enjoyed it probably more than the other ones that I certainly have in the past. I still think I like the Halloween episode a little bit, definitely more in this season for sure. But again, not taking away from the idea of how they executed this week's episode when it comes to Christmas. Yeah, I definitely didn't mind it. I'm glad you liked the Power Rangers. Ready? Matthew is a big fan, says, I really love the singing from Javi and the others, and singing really gets me in the Christmas season. It really does. It really does. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas music before Thanksgiving. I used to work in retail for years. And I tell you, man, once Halloween was over, boom, that Christmas music was just blaring in your ear over and over and over again. And sometimes I don't want to say it would take me out of the Christmas spirit, but sometimes it was just overkill. So for me, once Thanksgiving's over, I have no problem with Christmas music on the radio whenever I go shopping, sort of thing. It does certainly get me into the spirit. So the hearing just the idea of like opening up this episode with Javi singing, really kind of again gave me just those warm fuzzy feelings of, man, it is holiday season, isn't it, right? And just getting ready to celebrate. So I definitely agree with you, Matthew. Matthew also says, absolutely love Amelia. Simply too adorable. And we both love Christmas. Yeah, man, way too adorable. Blossom says, you're right about Hunter Dino. She's adorable to the max. Amelia really is just like my sweet Babu, and AKA Juru from Kara Major. But yeah, Hunter Dino continues to impress. And again, I don't know who her costume designer is. I don't know if this is what like Hunter just shows up just ready to go like that or what. But yeah, they always do great by her for sure. Matthew also says, I'm pretty much like Hobby. I'm not good at Christmas shopping. It can be difficult for sure. It's definitely one of I think like Christmas has to be one of those things like all year round. You're just listening, for ideas and things that people say that they want or they would certainly like to have. I feel like I need like a notebook. I need to start just taking like a note section of my phone. Like, okay, they say they want this, or they really liked how this looks. And then maybe just put together a great game plan leading up to Christmas or something like that. It's just probably just all about paying attention and listening. And I think out of that, the more thoughtful gifts is certainly how those usually come about. What's up, Jordan? Good to certainly see you in here. Thank you very much. Power Rangers Ready says, I learned Simon himself wasn't a fan of this Christmas episode. Really? I'm kind of curious as to what he said about it. What's up, the Power Bunny? Good to see you in here. Do you think we're gonna have any legendary Ranger cameos next season? For season 2 of Dino Fury, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Jordan, I enjoyed this episode overall, but it was interesting. It took place after the finale. I will agree with you there. I feel like sometimes maybe the Christmas specials don't even really give you an idea as to when it certainly takes place. But the fact that they literally emphasize the idea, especially when it comes to Mucus and Sly, they're like, they're back, right? Like it definitely continues along that timeline of this clearly takes place after the events of the finale, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more explained, especially when it comes to Mucus and Slither, but I am expecting that maybe for another episode when we get back for season 2, or maybe just not at all. But I'm glad you liked the episode, Jordan. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it for certainly what it was. Adam says, I still consider episode 21 the real ending to the first season. This is probably like an epilogue. Christmas special is more like the epilogue, perhaps. JB says, what says Power Rangers to me never do good Christmas episodes. They're always bad going back to MMPR and Zeo. So yeah, definitely not a fan. Koala says, this episode was good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Koala, for sure. Blossom says, as hot as Javi is, I wish they didn't make him so absent-minded. Yeah, like what's up with like the beautiful people on the show being like the dumbest as bricks sometimes? Like, hey man, I'm sure Javi's got to be a little bit smarter than that. But yeah, sometimes they just make him do the weirdest shit, man, and say the dumbest things. Blossom says Flargon ice cream. I wonder what the heck that is. I'm telling you, Hasbro, get on it, man. Get on it. I'm looking for look. You can collaborate with New Era for baseball caps, right? You can collaborate with what is it? Was it Skechers? Who's the one that made the shoes? Adidas? I can't remember who made the shoes with them. But you can make Power Ranger shoes. Can I get some Power Ranger ice cream? I would love it. I would love it. Don't tease me with Flargon ice cream if I can't taste it. Blossom says Ion's gift to her was the sander. Yeah, it makes says Ion's a lot to learn about Earth. Absolutely. But yeah, it didn't hit me because I went back and I watched the episode again, and I'm just taking notes as to who was each other's secret Santa, what did they give each other, and I was like, clearly Solon and Javi's there, and we see them going through all the gifts and stuff, and they're like last one, and I'm like, oh, this has got to be Amelia's gift, and they open it up, and it's Solon's gift to Javi with the key. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I haven't seen Amelia's gift. Like, what did they get Amelia? And then I realized in the beginning of the episode that Ion's like, oh man, I got this secret sander, type of thing. And I'm like, oh, Ion's got to give somebody a gift, right? It looks like Amelia got stuck with that one. So yeah. Matthew says Amelia truly knows the holiday spirit. I love her even more now than before, and that definitely does go a long way. Again, that's why I was saying I don't think Amelia truly cares. It's really about the thought and the holiday spirit in and of itself. So, it definitely for sure. What's up, Side? Good to see you in here. Thank you very much for certainly coming through, Sai. He says, we don't do much for Christmas, but for New Year's, me and the family do a fancy dress party. This year's theme is 80s movies. That's pretty badass, Sai. I love the sound of that, man. I love the sound of that. Marcelino says it's funny that the actor who plays Santa Claus is the same guy who played the mob boss from RPM. Looks like he saw the errors of his ways that took over the Santa Claus role. Yeah, just like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus, right? Saw the error of his ways. I think Santa handpicked him. It looks like maybe Santa Claus handpicked this guy, the mob boss from RPM. I think somebody else mentioned it, questioning whether or not this is the same guy from RPM. So there's your answer. I believe Marcelino answered that for everybody. Matthew says he recently saw Charlie's Brown's Christmas. That's always a great one to certainly fall back on for sure. Dino Fury victory. I'm surprised you don't have me saying Dino Knights fight for your rights, sort of thing anymore. Campbell's back in the house. What's up, Campbell? Appreciate you coming through. Wishing you and your family all the best for the holidays. Yeah, man, this is going to be probably one of my favorite holiday seasons ever, honestly. I mean, with Noah being born even before Thanksgiving, having something to be very thankful for with a newborn at home when it comes to Noah being here, and our first year having a baby for Christmas. And it's not even the idea of like just Noah being here too, right? But Cindy's family lives super nearby. Her mom, her dad. We also got, and then of course I've got my family on top of that. That's coming out from Georgia to come visit me. My mom's going to be here for the holidays, for both holidays, Christmas and New Year's, along with my stepdad, and I believe my stepdad's brother and his wife, my aunt and uncle, are going to be coming down also, to really celebrate. So it's going to be pretty huge in the sense of like just the idea of two families coming together, right? Really being able to celebrate not only just the holidays, but the birth of our son and a new addition to the family and things like that. It's gonna be it's gonna be something else, man. Like I don't want to say I'm nervous about it. I think everybody I feel like the idea of anytime merging two families together that don't really know each other, there is a little bit of nerves involved, but the idea that we're all coming together to celebrate just one big thing together as a family just means the world to me. And I don't want to say I've never experienced that sort of thing before, but this is the first time for me, in that regards, so the fact that everybody's making that effort to make this memorable, not only just for us but for everybody, it should be really fun, man. So I'm really looking forward to it, Campbell. So thank you very much for the well wishes, and same to you and your family, man. I hope you really enjoy the holidays here for sure. AJ says, "Hey, you're not rocking an ugly Christmas sweater for the last official live stream." I don't have any ugly Christmas sweaters. I really don't, because they're ugly. Usually, I know that's the reason to wear them, but no, I've just never had one before. We've had at work. Have had like ugly sweater parties sort of thing. Not everybody wore one, but if you did, you can enter like the office competition, or what I'm saying, like the to pick out who's the ugliest sort of sweater. And I've seen some ugly ass sweaters before. But yeah, maybe I should start investing in it. I would love to get a Star Wars ugly sweater. And if there is a Power Rangers ugly sweater out there, I'll take one of those too. Those are probably my two that I would probably love to have. JB says, "What says it's official when you hear Mariah Carey singing?" Absolutely, absolutely. Marcelino says, this episode was all right. Good. It works for a Christmas episode and it works for Power Rangers. It's just weird seeing this as the final episode when last week's feels like a true finale. And it definitely did. Like I said, somebody mentioned the idea that they want to view episode 21 as the final episode. And I think that's fine. I think if anything, this isn't necessarily even meant to feel like the final episode. I kind of look at it as an epilogue, like now that the dust has settled, sort of thing. Where do we find our Ranger team now? Sort of, what I mean? That type of moment of celebration, Christmas holiday, Christmas spirit sort of thing. Just a nice little little icing on the cake, or a little cherry on top to complete the season. So I always look at well, I don't want to say I always look at it, because I think the Christmas special sometimes does drop even before the finale. But I think the fact that they, even timeline wise, this moment takes place after the finale, this just felt very more like um um an epilogue, if you will. Power Rangers Ready says Siobhan, aka Dr. Akana, saw my tag of her in this season one finale post, and she said hashtag badass mom. Yeah, she definitely is a badass mom. I do follow her over on Instagram, and I watched a video of her trying to get ready for wrapping Christmas presents while popping a bottle of champagne all at the same time. It's pretty funny to me. It's always funny to me seeing somebody wrap Christmas presents and seeing how good that they are, or maybe not necessarily good. So getting an opportunity to see Siobhan try and wrap some Christmas presents, and the type of skill that she has doing so, is pretty funny to me, right? Like, and at the end of the day, ribbons, bows, all that stuff really covers up all the faults in Christmas wrapping. Not everybody's the best when it comes to Christmas wrapping. I like to take, as a guy, I think people automatically expect us guys to be absolutely horrible at it. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm actually pretty good when it comes to Christmas wrapping. Like, I don't think people would have expected, this is your present, Adam. You wrapped it. Like, uh, I take pride. I take pride in my rapping skills. Not rapping skills, like I'm a rapper, but I mean Christmas skills. I'll leave the rapping to Russell Curry. Blossom says I could make an ugly sweater for the holidays if you'd like. I mean, hey, if you're that talented, go for it, Blossom. Go for it. Jordan says my only Christmas sweater says lit AF on on it, surrounded by Christmas lights. I love it. I love it. What's up, Sarav? Thank you very much for certainly coming through today. Reaching out to Campbell Cooley himself. Thank you very much, Campbell, once again for certainly coming through, man. As always. Nathan said, not to brag, but I'm pretty great at Christmas wrapping myself. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that's pushing back on that mindset that guys don't know how to wrap Christmas presents. But all right, guys. I think other than that, I think that'll do it in regards to all of our Dino Fury talk today. So season 1 in the books, Christmas special epilogue dropped today over on Nickelodeon, the last and final episode ever to be on Nickelodeon, guys. So farewell to Nickelodeon and happy holidays to Netflix going forward, guys. But yeah, at the end of the day, again, these are just simply my A plus opinions, but I always want to go ahead and know yours. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this video airs, and your thoughts in regards to this year's Christmas special. And honestly, whose present did you like the most? I'm kind of curious to know. Like, of all the people that got gifts, whose did you think was the most thoughtful? Even though I thought they were all the most thoughtful, which one really stood out to you? I think for me, Solon with the keyboard key was probably my favorite. After that, probably the Ghost Poncho. Then even the songbook from Javi to Solon. Mm, the other ones I really wasn't that big of a fan of. Maybe the electronics kit, and then after that, the punching bag and the shirt, and then that power sander, man. That power sander, man. Maybe you can get some store credit, return that, return that back, wrap that up, rewrap that gift for next year. Jordan says, do you plan on doing a season 1 recap review? Probably within the next 2 or 3 episodes of A Plus More Phenomenal for sure. I think if anything, again, we do have the because what we did for the first half of season 1 is we wind up doing an award show, if you will, or at least picking out nominations, right, of best of moments from the first half. So we will be doing best of moments from the second half of season 1 also, because at the end of the entirety of Dino Fury, we'll be having a little bit of an award show. So definitely look out for that. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing a best of episode. And then maybe after the best of episode, maybe I'll do a complete season 1 recap and review for you guys. Or I might just make that its own individual video, but I'll definitely keep you posted. We definitely will be doing a wrap up of season 1 for sure. Blossom says, of all the presents, I wish I had that Santa sketchbook. Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty badass. Jordan says, I love Solon or Zato. Had the best gift. Great choices. Great choices. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, we will go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is something I did not see coming. Honestly, I'm kind of curious as to why this they haven't pulled the trigger on this earlier. Just based off of one, the fact that Power Rangers has been around for 20 plus seasons. This mammoth of a monster has been around for what, like 50 plus years, if not a little bit more than that. But it's a collaboration and a battle that at some point in time has had to happen. I don't even know if this is. There's a part of me that wants to say that maybe even Bat in the Sun might have done some sort of live action variation of this already, but I could be wrong. And that is the idea of Godzilla versus the Power Rangers, ladies and gentlemen. It's happening. It's happening. Looks like IDW and maybe Boom Studios are crossing over for this particular moment here, or maybe this is strictly just an IDW publishing company thing. I'll go ahead and read the article a little bit more for you guys. But this past week, they finally revealed the cover art for Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We got two covers here for you guys. This is the first one. This looks like this is going to be the main cover. And if you're interested in a variant or at least an additional cover to this upcoming crossover, we've got another one with the Dragon Zord facing off against Godzilla. Also, we got Rita, we got Goldarm, we got the Green Ranger in there. Also, that's pretty epic in its own right with the that cool artwork. Also, but yeah, you see Boom Studios and IDW tagged together up there in the top left corner. So I really love this artwork here. At least it makes Godzilla looks ferocious as can be. The Power Rangers definitely look pretty bulked up. I don't know if the artwork for the cover is going to be the same that's on the inside, but I always am really interested to see people's visions and variations of how they represent the Power Rangers when it comes to comic books, because everybody has their own certainly significant style. But this should be a barn burner, man. Like this should be rather epic to see these two entities finally clashing. I am kind of curious as to what brings these two together to even battle it out in the first place. And we're officially taking bets, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you got in this brawl for it all, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go ahead and dive into this. This actually comes to us. I wind up picking up this story from superherohype.com, I should say. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and pull this up here for you guys. All right. Godzilla takes on the Power Rangers in new comic crossover. It says the Power Rangers usually make short work of giant monsters thanks to their Zords. However, the next opponent won't be put down as easily. Oh, no, he won't. No, he won't. IDW, Boom Studios, Hasbro, and Toho have announced Godzilla versus the Power Rangers, a new comic book crossover miniseries that puts the Rangers against the world's most famous kaiju. It says Coolin Bunn from Deadpool and the artist Freddie Williams II from Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover are the creative team behind this 5-issue miniseries. Within the stories, the Rangers' nemesis, Rita Repulsa, finds a universe without her hated foes. Regardless, in this realm is defended. This realm is defended by Godzilla, which is why Rita will send some new giant monsters to take on the Icon. Shortly thereafter, the Power Rangers also travel to this world, and once that happens, the Dinozords battle with Godzilla is inevitable. So that's fascinating. The idea that Rita Repulsa, looking around the universe a little bit, finds a spot where the Power Rangers are not there and decides to go ahead and send down some new giant monsters of her own to go ahead and defeat Godzilla. So Rita Repulsa is the one truly picking the fight with Godzilla here. And it's when the Power Rangers kind of get involved that's when all mayhem sort of breaks loose. I didn't even realize this, but not only do we have the Power Rangers in the front, but in the background, you can even see the Dragon Zord back there. I didn't even notice that at all. And I'm kind of curious who the two figures are over here. There's one there and there's one here. I'm wondering if one of them is Zed. And maybe the other, I don't know who these two figures are, but I have to look a little bit closer. It says, I am honored to bring these two iconic franchises like Godzilla and the Power Rangers together, is what Cullen Bunn stated, the writer. He says, I've been a massive Godzilla fan since before I could read, and my love for the King of Monsters has never faded in all those years. Likewise, I've always loved tokusatsu superheroics. And vividly remember watching the first episode of Power Rangers when it came out. This is a crossover that I suspect will take readers by surprise, but it makes complete sense. Waiting for these characters is a dream. Writing for these characters is a dream come true for this giant monster loving kid at heart. And when readers pick up this book, I want them to feel the sense of awe and wonder that these characters have inspired for decades. The artist wind up saying, this will be the biggest and most stratospheric crossover I've ever drawn. It's a combination of so many big genres: giant monsters versus mechas, martial arts versus science and magic, with lots of collateral destruction. I love the sound of that. I've been watching Power Ranger episodes and Godzilla films to submerge my brain space, and have been reminded how fantastic and charming these designs are, and how much fun prior creators had with their designs. I'm excited to contribute to the long legacy of these franchises. So if you are interested, it says Godzilla versus Power Rangers will hit comic book stores March of 2022. So it will be here in about 3 months. About 3 months, ladies and gentlemen. So I love the enthusiasm for these two. Like, they really feel like extremely invested. I love the fact that we get the opportunity to hear from both the writers and the artist in here, especially from the artist, getting an understanding of how other people have collaborated or at least drawn these monsters, putting his own footprint or fingerprints onto the franchise in his own way. And the fact of what he's saying: giant monsters versus mechas, martial arts versus science and magic, and lots of collateral destruction. Anytime you get Godzilla on the scene, I feel like that's expected, and it's about to go down. This should be a brutal battle, to say the least, and I'm really interested to see how the writing and everything's going to come into play to really make this a fun crossover. The last time we had a Boom Studios and IDW crossover was the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, which turned out to be a fantastic miniseries, which I really advise anybody to go ahead and certainly check it out. And so I'm really expecting that same level of fun and entertainment from this Godzilla versus Power Rangers, right? It is one of those things, like I said, it's been bound to certainly happen. When is it going to happen has really been the big thing. So I'm really loving the idea of this finally kind of taking place, and I do wonder if this will open up the idea again. I don't know if they've ever done like Transformers versus Power Rangers. I don't really know how that's worked, or if they've had that collaboration in the past. If they haven't, maybe this will continue to open the doors to other big mecha battles. I mean, hell, can we get like a Pacific Rim versus Power Rangers? I would take a crossover like that if it hasn't happened before either. But having the opportunity to see our Rangers face off against one of the most iconic monsters, right? Like, if Power Rangers have been killing monsters for years, they should certainly be pros at it by now. But the idea of going against this fucking kaiju, this a legendary kaiju that's been unstoppable in almost any iteration that we've seen him in, usually coming out victorious. This is going to be a battle for the ages, guys. And I'm going to go with Godzilla here. Look, I'm sorry, Power Ranger fans. I'm going to go with Godzilla. Although I'm sure maybe at some point in time, maybe the big fucking Dragon Zord will come in, and somehow him and Godzilla will like communicate with each other, and then they'll team up, and then we've got Godzilla and the Dragon Zord just breathing fire and raining destruction down on these giant monsters that Rita Repulsa has certainly sent out. So it should be fun. It should be rather entertaining, to certainly say the least. But yeah, guys, I want to know your levels of excitement when it comes to Godzilla versus the Power Rangers. Is this a combination that you never thought you would see happen? Now that it is happening, you're thinking to yourself, why hasn't this happened any sooner? I definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And let's see what some of you guys are saying in regards to this. Are you pumped for this this crossover? Let's see. Blossom says Godzilla and Power Rangers, holy moly cannoli. Datilla says, I heard the Dragon Zord was based on Godzilla. Yeah, probably inspired for sure. It would surprise me if it was not inspired by that. Jordan says this looks insane. Yeah, I love the design of Godzilla on this front cover. Again, I don't know if the artist for this cover is the same artist on the inside or not. I'm sure once we get further previews as we get closer, we'll definitely be able to tell. Marcelino says it's time for round 3, Power Rangers versus Godzilla. First time was Death Battle, Dragon Zord versus Mecha Godzilla. Second time was Bat in the Sun's Dragon Zord versus Godzilla. So if you want to see live action iterations of it, I thought that they might have done a Dragon Zord versus Godzilla. So thank you for confirming that for me, Marcelino. But if you guys do want to check out live versions of that, check it out. Death Battle, you get Dragon Zord versus Mecha Godzilla, and Bat in the Sun's Dragon Zord versus Godzilla. Now we're going to be getting it in comic book form. Sai, he says, Toho is super stingy with rights to their characters and charge an extortionate prices for them and control a lot. So getting a collab with anything and Godzilla is super hard. I hear the same thing. Like I feel like when it comes to Toho, the idea of just letting Godzilla be in anything is just not what they are up to. So I think this really speaks volumes in regards to what this 5-part miniseries is going to be like. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff when it comes to the writing and ideas that have had to be run past Toho to even begin with Sai. So I definitely agree with you there. So I think this is really huge that this crossover is even happening. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Marcelino says it's weird seeing the Rangers be very muscular. It feels 90s comics again. Yeah, it definitely feels like that that type of art style from back in the day for sure. Frankie says Godzilla Power Rangers, holy cow. Yeah, it's going down, man. It's going down. Edward Sanchez says this crossover is going to be my first crossover that you're gonna be checking out. Going back to the Dino Fury real quick, Byron says this is probably my favorite Power Ranger Christmas special. Glad you were a big fan, man. Glad you were a big fan for sure. I know some certainly weren't, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for sure. But yeah, guys, let me know how Blossom says Godzilla will knock Rita into next week. It should be pretty fun, man. I do want to see why she decides this. Like, of all things, like, yeah, they don't have the universe you're looking at, doesn't have the Power Rangers, but you think you really want to challenge Godzilla, bro? Like, you really want to challenge Godzilla? Not a smart move, Rita. Not a smart move. Unless she purposely did this thinking, hey, you know what? I know my monsters aren't even going to defeat Godzilla, but maybe the idea of just tampering alone piques the Power Rangers' interest enough to be like, we got to stop Rita. And they go into this world, and it's a trap by Rita to just bring them to this universe because she truly does just want to see Godzilla try and destroy the Power Rangers after all. I wonder if that's the thing. If she sees how powerful Godzilla is, and it's like, the Rangers will come out here if I give them a reason to. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they even reach out in the first. I definitely want to know more. I definitely want to know more. I'm fascinated. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Godzilla versus Power Rangers. Who do you got? Who's coming out victorious? I'm pretty sure there's going to be a team up at some point in time, but who knows? But I would love to see when the battle and the dust settles. I would love to know who you guys think will certainly win. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. Edward Sanchez says this crossover is going to be more phenomenal. It truly is. It truly is. Charles says, hey, Adam, congrats over 1,000 subs. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Take us a little bit over a year to certainly get there, but certainly well worth it, man. I appreciate everybody's continued support. Adam Perez says, I hear Turbo is currently the current season to be on YouTube. I believe In Space is next, then go all the way to Time Force, then Ninja Storm, etc. I will say this, man. I feel like the voices of the fans of Power Rangers have certainly been heard. One of the things that we've been talking about when it comes to YouTube is like, come on, guys, like let's go with the seasons, man. Like, what's taking you guys so long with the like little sprinkling of seasons or episodes here, episodes there, sort of thing. But I feel like ever since people started really complaining, Hasbro's been a lot better about uploading their episodes because yeah, Turbo, I believe it's completed now. I think they went ahead and put like a full new batch of episodes up there this past week over on YouTube. So up there, Turbo's certainly up there, expecting them just to get through. So we'll see how it continues. But yeah, guys, if you're interested in checking out Turbo, it's up there for you guys. All right, guys. Next topic that we're going to go ahead and get into today, we will transition now over to some tokusatsu news for you guys. And we've got plenty to certainly get into today. But the first, Avataro Sentai. Now, look, I'm fully expecting by the time Christmas hits, I'm hoping that we get ourselves a very great present in the form of new sort of details and official pictures, at least, or like an official poster and reveal from Toei in regards to it. At least that's what I'm certainly hoping for. I got the opportunity this past week to talk a little bit to Matt Hunt. He's kind of thinking that maybe an official announcement will go out before the weekend ends. I think maybe we were under the impression, maybe even as of yesterday or like Friday night, but nothing's dropped. But there are new magazines, he stated, that are meant to be dropping next week. So I think we're there. It should be an official poster and maybe even a few pictures to go along with it. I mean, you guys know how they usually do, whether or not it's magazine scans or whether or not it's an actual official poster of the team. I am expecting something. I think the real Matt Hunt's expecting something by the end of this weekend, which I think would be great. I'm trying to keep my eye out on Twitter as of right now. So, look, guys, if we are live doing this show, do me a big favor. Keep continuing to scan the Twitter sphere in regards to Donbrothers. If we do get anything that drops while we're live, please hit me with the breaking news so I can go ahead and keep you guys updated. So, I am hoping that by the end of this weekend, we do have ourselves an official picture when it comes to the Donbrothers. And if anything, in the middle of the week, we will be going live or at least hitting you guys with a brand. We get ourselves an early. I truly am, like, we're getting towards the imagine that we don't get anything until next year. So I am expecting it here within this week or at least within the next 2 weeks. But the real Matt Hunt's very much under the belief that this is probably the week we'll get an. In the meantime, while we wait, ladies and gentlemen, we do have ourselves some more Donbrothers rumors. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Avataro rumors continue to drop for us in regards to so far in regards to the main protagonists of this particular series. Maybe some fairy tale elements from the Momotaro theme, maybe some samurai martial arts work, maybe some yukai, right? Getting into some demons and things like that. Also, should be rather interesting in regards to how they tackle some things. So let's go ahead and get into some of the rumors that we certainly have going around right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up from Twitter. This is from TL Savage. Hashtag grain of salt. Again, grain of salt, guys. Always take these with grain of salt. Villain rumors. It says having Oni as the main enemies makes sense for obvious reasons. But here we go. It says grain of salt. An Oni witch with the fire attribute played by a face actress, one of the villain's generals. I'm wondering if when they say played by a face actress, I wonder if this is like an actual human face, right? Like, I think sometimes we tend to, Sentai tends to really love just masks and monster designs, right? And having somebody completely covered up, which I don't mind. But the one thing that I always say is like, I love human villains or villains with actual faces. It goes a really long way when it comes to expressing just emotions, right? And emoting and things like that. Really kind of does a lot for one particular scene or something that you're trying. I love the concept and the idea of this, and I'm hoping that the witch with a fire attribute played by a actress's face will actually be shown, probably with some makeup and things like that. An Oni wind or a wind Oni. So we got a fire, a wind, and they also say a water Oni as well. These two, the wind Oni and the water Oni, suited characters, and one of them being the villain generals also. So it seems like we potentially have three generals here in regards to it. I'm assuming fire Oni, which is an Oni witch, a wind Oni, and a water Oni in regards to maybe the upcoming generals for the villains. And then they have the demon Oni King sleeping or sealed away. Well, that's interesting. So it feels like more or less the generals doing the work for the demon Oni King, in a sense, to maybe, if there's, awaken them and sort of bring them back, if you will. So, and that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of at the same. Hold on a second. Give me a second here, guys. I'm trying to pull this up. So there are moments when I'm a big fan of this and not, in the sense that I kind of like my villains to, at least main villains, to really have an impact on the season, to get their hands dirty, right? To do some of the heavy lifting themselves, to truly show their power. So that's how I prefer my villains. But I think if the storyline is there, the idea of these three generals being the ones to do the heavy lifting, whatever it is that they're doing to try and bring back the demon Oni King, I'm really hoping that the story is compelling enough, and that these generals themselves actually get their hands dirty too, right? Like, I hope it's not a case of these generals just sending monsters down each and every, still have somebody on top of them. I want to see these generals get into the thick of things from time to time, and hopefully have, some great story arcs for themselves. All some of the main characters who are in fact protagonists, right? I think we've got Oni's sister, who, from some of the Grand Assault rumors that we've had before, might in fact be related to the main big bad. Maybe they're, maybe who, or a good girl on, related to maybe Oni King, or at least maybe one of these particular witches that we certainly have here. So I'm looking forward to it. I love the sound. And last but not least, it says Gigi from Zenkaiger, that big ass purple bird, another general. So I'm that's the part to me that really jumps out to me, because if you have been watching Zenkaiger, like you need to stick with, one of the things about Zenkaiger that does fascinate me is the idea of what Gigi's up to. This damn bird clearly has its own motives, and is attempting to do something on his own behind the back of the rest of the Toji Tendo, playing both sides all season long. Overlord Bokawas absolutely loves Gigi. Gigi can literally get away with murder if he wanted to, and Bokawas would love everything that he's doing. Gigi continues to uh, help, like, cause drama between Ijiru and Barashitara, right? So there's already like a trust thing that Gigi really loves, kind of pushing that mistrust between everybody. And yet behind the scenes, he's pulling his own strings in regards to, maybe giving Stacy further insight that he shouldn't have, right? Helping, was it Kaido, I think, even escape the Toji Tendo base, sort of thing. Giving Stacy further information that he probably shouldn't have, sort of thing. So Gigi is clearly playing both sides, and he makes for a fascinating character. And we've already been told that this is supposed to feel, I don't want to say like Zenkaiger 2.0, but there clearly are some returning and recurring characters from Zenkaiger that will be playing a role in this upcoming season as well. As this season continues. So I love the idea of Gigi possibly coming back as another general. And I want to see how his plan is truly going to come together, and if he's already planting seeds for this particular moment. So we'll see here, guys. Again, we've got three generals, maybe even possibly four with Gigi, all in regards to this sleeping or sealed away demon Oni King. So love the insight in regards to some of the villains. And I'm sure once we actually get maybe in a photo release, we'll probably get like a brief synopsis also, or plot details in regards to what we can certainly expect from this particular series, guys. So yeah, I'm pumped for this, man. I'm pumped for this. Some really great rumors in here. Again, grain of salt. Take this with the grain of salt. We always, things can certainly change. This can certainly not be true, but I gotta say, this is rather fascinating, and it feels like it certainly could be true. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted as we wind up getting more information. But I would love to know what you guys think so far in regards to some of this for you guys. Adam says, I think you froze for me. Yeah, I definitely did for sure. My internet was dropping from time to time, being a little bit slow here. Blossom says, geez, oh, Rosie, they're using Oni demons for the enemies, huh? Sounds straight cool. Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it. I love the idea of demon villains. Definitely reminds me of like the Yukai and stuff. So I'm really intrigued to kind of see how they truly play into this. And the fact that I'm sure a lot of the suited characters are probably going to have really great character designs. Really looking forward to seeing just what their costumes look like. But that Oni witch, if she is in fact played by a face actress, I think I'm going to be really on board with that. That kind of reminds me a little bit of the character from Caramajor, Garza's Carantula, right? He had like a half mask, half face. You could see his face move. I would love to see just like the whole entire face of the character if that's what we're going to be getting. So I like the potential that I'm seeing here, man. I'm really liking the potential that I'm seeing here, and we'll see how far that certainly goes. All right, guys. Next topic we're going to get into, we're going to change gears here and get into heavy Ultraman talk. Because this past week was in fact the Subaraya convention, Subaraya-con or Subucon. I don't even know what the name of it was, but all the reveals that we wind up getting as much as we did. Like, I didn't even put all the announcements on today's show. I did leave one announcement for my upcoming Ultraman Trigger review. We'll probably go ahead and make an announcement in regards to that. But briefly, guys, since Ultraman Trigger is getting ready to go ahead and actually wrap up here soon. I think we're episode 21 was this week, if I'm not mistaken. Also, it's picking up momentum. Stories continuing to build towards the finale. We only got like 4 or 5 episodes left for this particular season. So it's time to get ready for next year's. And so, ladies and gentlemen, a new trademark has in fact been dropped this week. Ultraman Decker, trademark by Subaraya, rumors, and more. So as of right now, Subaraya has trademarked the term Ultraman Decker. So let's go ahead and dive into this and see what some of the rumors are, what this could potentially be turning into for the next season. So this article comes to us from jeffusion.com, a great Japanese entertainment blog for you guys. It says, with the final episode of Ultraman Trigger fast approaching, Subaraya Productions has revealed that they had recently registered the next Ultraman series. And our new series is called Ultraman Decker. It was registered last November 29th and was approved this December 14th and will serve as the new generation Dino, it says. As for the gimmicks, it is rumored that Deco will have a brace type changer, and the collectible item is that of cards, similar to Ultraman X and Ultraman Orb, which will house the power of the new generation heroes and probably compatible with the Ultra Fusion fight game. As for the monster attack team, they will be using mechas such as Deathfacer and Mountain Gulliver. Decker is also rumored to appear in the upcoming Trigger movie. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. I think it's a great way to go ahead and like foreshadow what's certainly to come, to have it pop up in the Ultraman Trigger movie. But again, these are just simply rumors as of right now. I do find it interesting that it says it will serve as a new generation Dyna for this Ultraman Decker, especially considering the fact that I feel like we just got off of the concept of a new generation of something, right? Like Ultraman Trigger being new generation Tiga, kind of really taking influences and storyline ideas and concepts, and just upgrading it for a more modern show and just a different time. So I am wondering if that's the same route that they're going to go with Ultraman Decker going forward. But I do find it interesting. I'm kind of fascinated to see where it's going to go. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm fully on board with this. I truly am. I've really loved Ultraman Trigger. With me being super new to the franchise, maybe it just hits me differently than it does maybe some people that have been invested in Ultraman for the past 50 plus years, or if you've got a couple Ultramans franchises and series sort of under your belt already. But for me, I've been floored by Ultraman Trigger. And so I think I'm definitely going to be giving the next iterations of Ultraman when it comes to their series a chance and an opportunity here. So there is a part of me that hopes that it does, that Ultraman Decker does appear in the upcoming Ultraman Trigger movie that we're supposed to be getting. I don't believe this is the Ultraman Decker design. I think if anything, maybe they just utilized maybe that's Dinah, maybe that's Ultraman X. I really don't know who which version of Ultraman that certainly is. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I had such a great time with Ultraman Trigger. I definitely will be checking out Ultraman Decker when it drops. No release date as of yet, but I feel like they probably come out a little bit later in the season, just because of the fact, or like maybe summertime, just because of the fact that there's only 25 episodes. They're not year-long seasons like Kamen Rider or Super Sentai certainly tend to be. So definitely look forward to it, guys. So yeah, Ultraman Decker officially trademark by Subaraya Productions going forward. What other Ultraman news did we get? Oh, I gotta talk about the big one, guys. Ultraman, Shin Ultraman, the movie. Shin Ultraman now officially has a release date. Look, I've been really looking forward to this. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say, go watch Shin Godzilla. I'm sure you guys are completely done with me talking about it all the time. But it's a really great modern iteration of the first coming of Godzilla. I think they did wonders in regards to it and putting it in a more modern time. The story is there, the characters are there, the intensity is there, the violence is there, the horror of a monster coming out of nowhere for the first time is certainly there. The graphics are pretty spectacular, honestly. I would definitely recommend you checking out Shin Ultraman or Shin Godzilla. Now, Shin Ultraman, we've talked about before. We've talked about maybe over the past year and a half or so, because have been released already. But due to the pandemic, they had to go ahead and postpone it. And I was wondering, it's like all information on Shin Ultraman just became stopped, and then we wind up getting the announcement for Shin Kamen Rider. And I kept thinking to myself, wait, so now we're getting the Shin Kamen Rider, but nobody's to tell me what's happened with Shin Ultraman. Well, we finally got some news, guys. We finally got some news. They wind up giving us not only this poster, but further detail. So let's go ahead and dive into this. This is from tokunation.com. It says the long-awaited Ultraman feature by legendary director Hideaki Anno, who is also going to be doing Shin Kamen Rider, is finally headed to theaters. It says, can I pull this up too? Do we have, oh yeah, they put a little trailer with it too. Originally scheduled for a 2021 release, Shin Ultraman project was delayed due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Now at last, a new release date has been confirmed. Ultraman Trigger will arrive in theaters May 13th, 2022. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Ultraman May 13th, 2022, and this is a new teaser for the project that they wind up dropping. I love the ominousness of seeing Ultraman Trigger or Ultraman rising from the ashes here. This is bulbous eyes being showcased. You know, I still feel some type of way about the design of him as far as graphics go and things like that, but I kind of want to see what he looks like in live action, like in full on. Like they literally have just been teasing us. You know, the figure alone of Ultraman looks a little bit off. Like the muscle tone seems a little bit weird to me at times. He looks super long and slender. Again, I don't recall. I've never watched the very first series of Ultraman, so maybe that's probably in lines with what he certainly looks like. But regardless, I'm eager for it because I'm a fan of story and character building. And if they've done such a great job as they did with Ultraman Godzilla, I'm definitely going to go ahead and give this an opportunity. So yeah, guys, definitely check it out. It says again, May 13th, 2022, Shin Ultraman will officially drop. It was supposed to originally drop this past year, but again, with the pandemic, they had to go ahead and certainly hold off on it. And a part of me thought, like, is the movie just that bad? Did they have to like do reshoots? Did they have to do things over again? No, it was just simply the case of the pandemic. So it's now coming, guys. It's certainly going to be here before we know it. So yeah, Ultraman, Shin Ultraman getting ready. Adam says, "Oh, Shin Ultraman. I thought you said shit Ultraman. No, Shin Ultraman. Shin Ultraman." Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, guys. And then last but not least, in regards to the Ultraman news, again, this past week was crazy in regards to the Subaraya convention that they wind up really big mental announcements. Again, there's at least two announcements I will keep for the Ultraman trigger video that we do. But in the meantime, the last one that we have is in regards to Ultraman Trigger, Ultraman season 2 dropping on Netflix. We wind up getting once again a brand new poster. I love this poster. The action poses, the laser blasts, the explosions. I love all the designs of these Ultraman costumes. I truly do. The jokes continue about this being like Iron Man 3 with all the damn Iron Man suits and things like that, but I really do love the design. I am gonna probably be going back and rewatching season one just to go ahead and get prepared for this. But the push for Ultraman on Netflix season two continues here, and shout out to Netflix for continuing to do this promotion, these promotings, along with Subaraya, to making sure that people know that their shit's coming. Their stuff is coming for sure. If you want a closer look at the poster here, here's the poster for you guys as well. I really was a big fan of the CGI. There were elements of the CGI animation in here that kind of really reminded me of like, and this is gonna feel old school, but like Metal Gear Solid for some reason, or like the Metal Gear video games. Because I just think of like some of the suits and stuff like that from the game. It just really reminds me of it. I don't know if it's the same suit designer that came up with this or not, but when I see Ultraman on Netflix and I look at the costume designs and just the CGI, for some reason my mind goes to Metal Gear video games. But let's go ahead and dive into this because I there might be some more information. This is from comicbook.com. Shout out to comicbook.com for even um, it says Netflix's Ultraman Season 2 narrows release window with a new poster. Ultraman has narrowed its Season 2 release with Netflix with the launch of a new poster as part of Subaraya Productions' newest endeavor to expand their properties into new worldwide markets. This feels very much like what Toei's doing with Kamen Rider. There have been several new projects that have struck chords with fans. One of them was the new Ultraman anime series taking place after the events of the original from decades earlier. It says, and fans have been waiting for the new season of the series ever since it was confirmed to be in the works last year. Now the series' second season is getting ready for its release next year. So that's pretty cool. It says it takes place after the events of the original Ultraman series. It says, although previously confirmed to be releasing in spring 2022, Subaraya Productions has confirmed an April 2022 release date of Ultraman Season 2 on Netflix. There's unfortunately no concrete release date of the new episodes just yet, but as part of the special event for their franchises, Subaraya Productions has also confirmed that Junichi Suwabe has joined the cast as Alien Pedanto. And they wind up providing us with that poster that you guys wind up seeing there also. Here's another look at that as well. So yeah, man, maybe listen, maybe this is something I gotta check out. Maybe this is telling me, Adam, if you are gonna go back and watch any Ultraman series, maybe you should actually go back to the original. It's the same thing with Super Sentai. We have been doing reactions towards Go Ranger over on our Patreon account. It's been really fun to get an opportunity to see the first iteration of Super Sentai from 45 years ago, sort of thing. So especially if the Ultraman anime series takes place after those particular events. And we also have Shin Ultraman that's going to be, I'm assuming, um, doing its own sort of original origin story, maybe based off of that first season of Ultraman. Maybe this is telling me something. Maybe this is telling me something. It says the director says we are currently working diligently on production of season 2, and it's looking to be even more interesting than the first season. There's more action, more Ultraman allies come into the scene, and I'm confident the story developments will have you hooked. Please look forward to season 2. And it says if you do want to check out the series before the new season premieres, the first season is on Ultraman. It says the officially described the series as several years have passed since the events of Ultraman, with the legendary giant of light now a memory, as it is believed he returned home after fighting the many giant aliens that invaded the Earth. Shin Hayata's son, Shinjiro, seems to possess a strange ability. And it is this ability, along with his father's revelation that he was Ultraman, that lends Shinjiro to battle the new aliens invading the Earth as the new Ultraman. So from father to son. I dig that concept. I dig that concept. So yeah, guys, if you guys are interested in checking it out, do yourselves a favor. Ultraman, the anime, over on Netflix. So again, season 1 is there. Season 2 dropping April of 2022. So mark your calendars, guys. Enrique says Ultraman Trigger will have an exclusive new movie form. Yes, he certainly will. We'll talk about that probably more during our Ultraman Trigger review. He says, Sai, what's up, Sai? He says, just last night, the Ultraman Connection English website hosted another event. In it, they announced that the Trigger movie will be coming to the website for all the free members of the release. Get hyped. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. This is what you do. Listen, I have continued to love the push that Subaraya Productions and Toei are doing for Kamen Rider and Ultraman. Really doing a fantastic job, if you ask me, in regards to making their content more accessible. Because I think Kamen Rider Ryuki just wind up being released on Tokusatsu, if I'm not mistaken, also. So they're really making their content more widely available here in the States and more easily accessible. You know, I would like to see maybe Toei do a little bit more with Kamen Rider. I know we got a ton of stuff that's certainly coming our way. Don't get me wrong. But I think like Subaraya is a lot more free and open with a lot of their content. Seeing freaking Ultraman and Marvel comic books and things like that, getting their own series and stuff, really expanding and branching out their franchises into other markets. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. What's up, Jerry? Appreciate you coming through, man. I'm really loving the poster for Ultraman 2 because it gives me Avengers 1 vibes, right? It does, like a little team up, some Iron Man vibes in there. Also, I'm sure each of these Ultramen have their own abilities and powers and stuff. So yeah, I think this is a great branching off point after the very first season of Ultraman. So man, I might have to check out its very first season. But yeah, guys, let me know this. More Ultraman headed your way for free, easily accessible for you guys to get your hands on. More Tokusatsu. Just you fans out there. But yeah, guys, let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. And I think we'll officially wrap all of our main topics here today on A Plus. So thank you very much, guys. And I'm continuing to check Twitter. Any Avataro Donbrothers stuff. So we'll see here. Studios just made an announcement. Good news for Power Ranger fans outside of the US, EU, and UK. Pre-orders are now open for hashtag Heroes of the Grid Time Force expansion. So I guess that's a tabletop game if you guys are big into that sort of thing. Yeah, that's all the other updates that I have as of right now. But yeah, once we get some Donbrothers stuff, whether that be while we're live on air or later on this weekend or even this week, we'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. But now it is time for that time of the episode, live viewer question. For submitting all your questions, we continue to grow each and every week here. It's pretty gnarly to kind of see just just to see all the new people that continue to bring in some questions. We are continuing to grow, not only just on the channel, but definitely live viewer question side of things. So I may have to change the format of how we do things around here. I know I've been providing, letting people bring in 3 questions every one question. I'm not gonna lie, at some point in time, but maybe I might kick that in for the new year. But I'll definitely give you like a week to end up or live viewer questions may run a little bit long today. But if you guys do have any live viewer questions, feel free to submit them over to aplusmorphinominal@gmail.com. Again, that's aplusmorphinominal@gmail.com. You can send, you don't have to wait until the last minute. Jessica Fryman, what are you looking forward to the most in season 2 of Dino Fury? I want to see how much they push the franchise going forward. Like I'm expecting more Lord Zed, more Void Knight. Whether or not the Amelia stuff kind of holds up, I don't even necessarily know if that's even the case anymore. They really haven't hinted at it any more than the idea of Pop Pop having worked too. I think people have quickly made that a thing. Like, oh, they must be. I don't know if that's a theory that's holding up just based off of how this season has gone, but who knows? Season 2 could just open the floodgates. So I am expecting some more mysteries to be resolved, some more cameos. We know Commander Shaw's coming. So much are they going to push the envelope in regards to their storytelling, honestly? When do you think we'll know if they're going to turn Zoo Ozier into the next Power Rangers series for Netflix? Definitely after Dino Fury. I think once season 2 drops, whether that be like March or April, maybe after, like, if even if it's like part 1 or part 2, I think once it at least begins to drop, I think then we'll start learning something. It wouldn't surprise me if that information comes out from the Illuminati beforehand as sort of soldier being. So if they get more concrete evidence that this is certainly before Dino Fury drops, but not expecting anything official. Dino Fury season 2 has dropped, because you don't want to necessarily take away from the series that's currently out there now. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Now, I will say this, guys, into the next set of questions. I don't know who did this or not, but this set of questions come from Noah Perez, which is my son's name. Um, I don't know if I find that cringy. I don't know if I find that flattering. I don't know if I should be worried to see who's outside of my house stalking me. I don't know if that's like a nice gesture or hilarious. I don't know how I feel about somebody named Noah Perez submitting questions to me. I really don't know how I should feel about that. He said, or maybe he is a Noah Perez. Maybe he really is a Noah Perez out there, and it's just a coincidence. I have no idea. Says, I found your YouTube channel of Power Rangers. I wonder if I could ask a question or two. What do you think of the final episode of Dino Fury? I thought it was really well executed, and I love that the Rangers did not immediately assume the threat was over. I remember in Super Megaforce and Megaforce, they all thought that there was no more danger, especially the guy who played the Silver Ranger. He went back home to rebuild his planet, even though the villains were clearly retreated. Yeah, I thought the last episode was great. I thought it was pretty epic on a couple of levels, for sure. The civilian fight continues to impress me. I think even Tessa, who plays Izzy, work that she wound up doing, because they had her as on some wire work and things like her and stuff, because she makes that big slash towards destroying the machine sort of thing. So I thought that was a pretty cool little insight behind the scenes. So definitely a lot of work went into putting that series together. There was some moments of annoyance I had with Ollie. I think their plan could have been a lot better executed than certainly what it was. But I was a really big fan of the final episode. Also found the episode with the return of Lord Zed, and I love how it was handled. Very different in past Halloween specials. Do you think his appearance in episode 14 was it? My jaw dropped when he first showed up. His suit was very ripped. Yeah, I was super surprised. I'm so glad that they brought him back. I was really worried about how they were going to execute it, right? With Dave, with I want to say David Axelrod, with yeah, with Mr. Axelrod, unfortunately his passing, the idea of returning Lord Zed was a little bit iffy to me. I always felt like, hey, if you're gonna try and pull this off, you gotta put mad respect on Axelrod's name and really pull this off. And I thought they did. I thought the idea of bringing back the voice actor for um my head wants to go to Vengeance, but I know that's not the case. Um, anyway, bringing back the voice actor, I thought was great from Beast Morphers because I thought he really did nail it and just brought that menacing tone to him. And being able to see Lord Zed actually fight and beat some ass, I thought was more than I thought we would actually get the opportunity to see in his return. So it floored me. And I think with his departure, and I think Evox, excuse me, Evox. I thought with his departure, Lord Zed's departure, the idea that he didn't have his staff and things like that, I think it means that he's out there in the galaxy somewhere gaining that power back so that we can see him again in season 2. So I fully expect him back. And even with the green morphine master mentioning to Ion, like, hey, this is one of the reasons why we're bringing you back is that is to face off against Lord Zed. I am expecting that to go down. We got a new couple of questions here from, was it Eagle? Eagle? Egil. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I completely apologize. But I like the pronunciation of Eagle. I could be completely butchering it, but thank you for your questions. He says, please excuse my English. It's more than okay. I don't know if this is true, but I see on social media that there is a new fan-made movie by the gentleman from Power Rangers who played the Green Ranger and many other colors except pink. If so, do you think it would be good? Some of my friends who are fans of Power Rangers, they say the guy of Tommy is self-centered ever since he came back for recent Ninja Power Ranger series and the other team celebration before. I don't necessarily think he's self-centered. I think some people probably just have bad taste in their mouth from so much MMPR, and there was a time period where JDF was almost in everything that you saw from Power Rangers. So I get the idea of him leaving a bad taste in some people's mouths, but maybe there is some self-centeredness. I don't know if there is. I feel like maybe there's just a confidence in yourself. You know what I mean? With everything that this man has accomplished and how he's really helped Power Rangers continue to stay in the limelight and stay in today's culture and utilizing that to help bring in new fans and do things for fans. I mean, he's super friendly with all the fans that he winds up meeting. I feel like if you ever met him at a convention, always kind of going out of his way. I mean, any interview that I've seen him in, he's always seemed like a great guy, for me personally. And so I always try and put respect on JDF's name because I know some people probably have gotten tired of him, but I think the idea of what he's done for the franchise highly outweighs any other negative aspects that come along with it. But going back to your question, there is a new movie that's coming out now. It's not Power Rangers related per se, right? Like it's not connected to the bigger lore of Power Rangers, but there are clearly some uh um um influences. You know what I mean? I mean, there's JDF, right? You're definitely going to get that costume and superhero sort of vibe, and we get to see that very clearly. So it is titled Legend of the White Ranger. He is playing a completely different character in Eric Reed, very troubled past, if you will, on the run in this particular film. But Dragon Prime is certainly still out there and maybe putting together another attack. And so Eric Reed is going to kind of come out of hiding and protect his loved ones and protect his city sort of mentality. So definitely some references and I'm sure some, inspirations from that of Power Rangers. It is being produced by the fantastic company in Bat in the Sun that do not slouch on anything that the trailer alone goes to show you just a level of production that they're certainly putting into it. And yeah, there definitely will be some cameos from past Power Rangers Was it Serena Vincent is in there from Lost Galaxy. You also got Sierra Hannah from Megaforce that's going to be in there. Probably a couple of other people popping up from time to time as well. So I do think it'll be pretty good. I mean, look, for what it is, the fact that they have been able to get some really interesting big names to actually be attached to it makes me think there's got to be something special here in the script outside of just JDF's charm to try and bring these people in. And I think work a long way. So I think in its own right, I think it'll be, I'm not going into it comparing it to Power Rangers. I am going into it considering it its own thing and its own unique story and its own unique characters. And I think we might have something really cool here. I'm really looking forward to it. Are you happy that Power Rangers is coming to Netflix here in India? We got it a few months ago, but do you know if the second season will come to Netflix India same time as the US? Merry Christmas there, sir, and thank you for reading my questions. Well, hey, I don't know what you celebrate over in India, but happy holidays to you too. And I hope you bring in the new year fantastically. So yeah, we do have second season here on Netflix already. It wind up dropping September, maybe. Season. I have not heard as to when it's coming to Netflix in India as of yet. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been there. It's an international streaming service, so I have not heard any release dates. But I got to assume that you guys will get it sooner rather than later. Hopefully before season 2 winds up dropping on Netflix. But I'm super happy about this move. I truly am. I mean, you want to take Power Rangers from Nickelodeon. Cable television is dying these days. So viewership is very low as it is, right? On Nickelodeon from someplace in cable that's dying to a streaming service that just continues to grow and grow and grow and get bigger and bigger. I think you just automatically just so I think this is a great move in regards to bringing in casual viewers that might have thought, hey, Power Rangers is probably dead, getting new eyes on the content. And now that you're going to be rebooting and reimagining it, this is a really great opportunity for Power Rangers to live again in pop culture, but in a more modern and current iteration. And I think it's been a long time coming. So I'm really pumped for it. Really pumped for it. Thank you very much for the questions, man. I appreciate it. We got Watanabe. What's up, Watanabe? Another new person sending us questions, man. Thank you very much. Watanabe says, congratulations on earning 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Some of my friends are big Super Sentai and Tokusatsu fans and follow you on social media. Well, hey, thank you very much. I tell them I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you joining our family too, man. So thank you very much. Do you think Mr. Force was a good or bad series of Power Rangers? God, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Listen, to each their own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never tell anybody don't watch a series whatsoever because it's television, and same with movies. It's all subjective. It's all art, right? Like, a series hits you differently. So while a series may not have hit me a certain type of way, it might have hit somebody else a certain type of way. Definitely elements of Mystic Force that I was a big fan of. Others sometimes are a little bit of a bore fest for me. So I thought it was just okay. I didn't personally, for me, I didn't think it was anything too special. But again, that was just me. It's been years since I've watched Mystic Force. So maybe it's a series that's worthy of checking out again and maybe having a different perspective and point of view of it. Because I for one feel that Nick was a very grounded character. All the Rangers were. I will agree with you there for sure. I love the fact that they worked at a music store. I think immediately that puts them as quite a grounded group of characters. All the Rangers were. They didn't come across as absolute vestiges of positivity and perfection like a lot of the more recent series. All the Mystic Force Rangers had their own unique flaws, which made them even much more relatable. Totally agree. Nick was considered by many fans to be Lord and Savior of the Mystic Force Rangers, and to give up with when the Master was too powerful. I do think he was a much better leader in Red Ranger than Jaden, Troy, and Brody. From hey, you know what? You're not off. You're not off, man, by that comment. I do love the fact that Tyler is not on that list. So I will agree with you there. I will agree with you. Great points. What do you think of the new Ultraman series? I myself only saw a few episodes. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get into it, but I love the design and the CGI. Yeah, the designs and the CGI blew me away. Um, I'm loving it so far. I don't know if you've watched any other Ultraman series prior to Trigger or not. But for me, with this being my very first season, I have enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the supporting characters. They're just as fun loving as the main character in here. I think as the season progresses, we've been having some really great mysteries, questions answered. The battles are absolutely incredible on screen. It's a great balance of drama, sci-fi, fantasy, mixed in with a little bit of humor here and there. Some cringy moments, certainly some cringy moments for sure. But I've been a big fan. I felt like the story and the characters alone have truly carried this season for me, and it's just been really compelling television. So I've been a really big fan. I honestly think it's probably my favorite tokusatsu thing on TV currently. Again, I'm not watching Revice as much as I originally wanted to. It's left a bad taste in my mouth, so I just do not support the show. So maybe some people are liking it, but as far as other in general, all the tokusatsu I'm currently watching, that's probably my favorite right now is Trigger. I was going to ask him like revise us in the next question, but I did see your video where you mentioned a certain topic and said, "Why do you think Kamen Rider hasn't been huge here in the U.S. compared to Power Rangers? It would be amazing to have it be a rival to Power Rangers, and maybe in the um." I don't know. I know Master Rider. They definitely gave it a shot back in the time, maybe around Power Rangers. But I think the problem was, and this is just me, I think Power Rangers just became so big immediately that other shows just didn't stand a chance. VR Troopers was around for a short period of time. That was cool. Beetleborgs was around for a short period of time, right? I think all those shows, Masked Rider, I think all those shows really trying to capture the same love and what made Power Rangers special. But I think Power Rangers just became so big that everything else just kind of maybe just people looked at it as like a copycat, you know, and didn't give it its sort of fair shake. And so a lot of that stuff maybe just got overshadowed. So, I am curious if they were to try and do a more current iteration of it for US now, if it would be more successful. I think it probably would if you gave it a very unique um aesthetic, tone, vibe, and really created it to be something significantly different. Because I think, people are fully embracing the idea of superheroes these days. Is there a superhero fatigue out there? I do think there's certain levels of things that can be superhero fatigue, but it's still very much popular in today's culture. So I think if you are able to create something in the US that, when it comes to Common Writer, that feels uniquely different from anything else that's currently out there, I do think that you could make it big. I also think Toei has been wanting to keep content for themselves. I think this is probably the first opportunity that Toei's feeling really comfortable after the failure of Masked Rider to pull the trigger a little bit. But I do think that they're very particular about how their franchises and their properties are used. Um, I think they're, taking their baby steps for sure right now with Common Writer in regards to expanding it to more, whether that be streaming services, whether that be simulcasting, making maybe some of their upcoming reboots and movies available to the people in the US. I think they're taking baby steps, but I think there's a lot more that they can certainly do. So I do think there's a element of Toei holding back maybe a little bit too much. So I do think there's a possibility where it can become big in the US. How big? I guess it really depends on how original those concepts are going to be going forward. But it would be pretty cool to see something rival that of Power Rangers. Thank you very much for the questions, man. I really appreciate it, Watanabe. We got Chen Andrew. What's up, Chen? Appreciate you coming through. First off, I'd like to say congratulations on getting 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. People say Super Sentai is better than Power Rangers. What do you think Power Rangers does better? Oh, God. Is this a trick question? Um, What does Power Rangers do better? God damn. I might pass that question over to you. I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think too. What do you think Power Rangers does better? Off the top of my head, believe it or not, I want to say nothing. I do think Super Sentai tends to be the far superior show of the franchises. Um, a better story. Power Rangers unfortunately has to work on adapting around those stories. Power Rangers doesn't even really use original footage for its Megazords. If anything, God damn, I can't even. I will say maybe not better, but coming close to rivaling that. Maybe some of the original fight sequences that Power Rangers has been doing as of late. Beast Morphers and Dino Fury. I think they've been getting better because it's original footage. I think they've been getting better. Maybe I'm not going to say better than Super Sentai, but they're working on it. They've been really impressing me with their original fight footage. Super Sentai storylines tend to be even better than Power Rangers. Again, it's the adapting things. Power Rangers isn't even using their own original suits right now. Hasbro doesn't, they haven't even tapped into their cameos like Super Sentai does. If anything, I will say this. Because of the fact that I'm not that invested in social media over in Japan, right, in regards to actors, I think maybe what Power Rangers might do better than Super Sentai is all on the actors themselves, the cast themselves. I think the interaction between the cast and the fans. I want to say over the past, Beast Morphers and Dino Fury both come to mind in regards to just how out there the cast has put themselves, in regards to being accessible, in regards to talking with the fans, answering questions, getting involved, really doing a service to Power Rangers and putting the franchise out there and in front of people, right? And I think we have all fallen in love with the last two sets of cast members because of that. And so I think maybe when it comes to promoting Power Rangers just from an actor standpoint, a social media interaction, I think maybe Power Rangers, if there is any one up for Power Rangers over Super Sentai, I think that might be the key there. I think that might be the key there. So that's it. That's probably about it. That's probably about it. And I know that sucks to say, but yeah, I think that's about it. Um, yeah, sorry about that. That's the only thing I could think of that Power Rangers does better. So I think that, and again, I think that says volumes in regards to the cast that we have. You know what I mean? You said, for instance, I think it depends on the season that's taking place on Power Rangers. Super Sentai seems to show realistic blood and death and sparks, and or they've been destroyed. We did get a death scene with Kendricks in Pink Galaxy Ranger. I mean, that was what, like 50 years ago? No, that was like, how long was that? 15 years ago, if not longer. Would like to know your thoughts. Thank you, and sorry if I have just answered my own question. I'm new to this. No, you're fine. You're fine. Nothing wrong with answering a question and giving your own thoughts on that particular question. So I appreciate it, Chen. Thank you very much. But yeah, I don't think Power Rangers does much better. Anything else better than what Super Sentai currently is. And I think that's because of the fact that Power Rangers is so dependent on Super Sentai. Now, when we get a new reimagining and a new reboot here, then we might have some competition. You know what I'm saying? When we can be original, create our own Zords, create our own battle sequence and fight sequences, then Super Sentai might actually have to be on the watch for something. But there's very few Super Sentai seasons that I feel like Power Rangers has been better than. And even that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still think Super Sentai outweighs Power Rangers in that regards. I think there's more good Super Sentai seasons than there are Power Rangers over Super Sentai, if that makes any sense. Let's see here. Other questions? I might jump around a little bit here. I may not necessarily go in order. Marcelino Vasquez says, before I start, I just want to say that what I'm about to say are not my words. I'm not even sure if anyone thinks this, but either way, don't attack me or bash me. Obviously, we can't send our ideas to Simon Bennett of what we want to see in future Power Rangers because of copyright reasons. But let's just say that there are some people who have been trying to send their ideas to Simon Bennett, not because they want their ideas to become actual seasons of Power Rangers, but they want Simon Bennett to be their writing teacher. They were inspired to become great writers, so they want Simon Bennett to check their work and critique it. But Simon has instead been labeling them as toxic fans when they're not just not just to create drama and abuse this. Hold on, wait a second. They were inspired to become great writers, so they want Simon Bennett to check their work and critique it. But Simon Bennett has instead been labeling them as toxic fans when they're not, just to create drama and abuse his position of power. If this was true, what do you think? That's a very hypothetical question, and none of that is true. I'm assuming you're asking just if this was true, like a what if sort of scenario. Now we're entering the realm of Marvel here. And like I said before, those are not my words, and I doubt that anyone thinks this, but I'm just thinking of possible scenarios. I mean, what if? I mean, that's a dick move. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like a what if? I mean, that's a pretty dick move. I mean, listen, I get the idea of, I guess it would just all be about a couple things here, okay? I think it would be about one, how are the fans approaching him about it, right? Um, are you are you talking to Simon Bennett in a proper manner? I think maybe instead of the idea of thrusting your fan fiction or your writing onto him, maybe present it in the form of a question like, hey, Simon, I've got this idea I'm working on. My characters are yada, yada, yada. As a writer yourself, how would you, if anything, I think he's more of a showrunner, maybe comes up with ideas. Like, I probably wouldn't even go to Simon Bennett for my writing ideas. Like, if anything, I would go to Becca Allwin, the people that are actually listed as writers. So I wouldn't even go to Simon Bennett per se for my writing critiques. But I think it's all depends on how you present it. Like, hey, I'm working on this character here and I'm really struggling with trying to find, a motivation for my character. Or how do you come about at finding motivations? I think if you form it in the form of a question so much, then, hey, look at this fan fiction I'm writing. Can you read this? Critique it? No, he's got no time for that. He's got absolutely no time for that. Ask your question that you have about a particular thing and get out. That's how it works. The idea that, these people have full-time jobs. These people are working constantly. If they may probably get limited time with their family and stuff, brief time for holidays for themselves. They don't have time to be a writing teacher or to sit down with you and help you navigate through an entire fan fiction or an essay that you certainly have. If you're having struggle with something like that, pick out one particular question that you would like to ask in the form of a writing question, and then maybe present it and see what his feedback and ideas are. That's how I would probably present it. I think if you were to present it that way, then I don't think Simon Bennett would come across that way in an abusive of power. And I just don't think Simon Bennett's just that type of guy. I don't know him personally, sort of thing. So your question really is a big what if hypothetical. So mind you, this has not happened. Just so people know, if you're reading this question, this has not happened whatsoever. I mean, but if Simon Bennett were to act that way to somebody that just simply had a question, I mean, that would be a dick move, as it would be to absolutely anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really like dealing in possible scenarios, Marcelino. Like, let's deal with stuff that's factual, because I don't really like to talk about somebody that type of stuff isn't happening. And just the way that he's handled stuff in the past, I don't think he would handle that situation that way in the first place. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, let's maybe not deal so much in hypotheticals. Um, let's see here. Adam Perea. My thoughts on Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Um, I didn't say you were trying to spread misinformation. I'm just saying there are people in the world that can misread that. You know what I'm saying? That's simply why I'm trying to disclaimer it for you, because some people can misread things or hear things that you are not saying or I'm not saying. I'm just being honest. Um, so I just spent this week. That's why I don't like dealing in hypotheticals, man. Okay. So I just spent this week since Sunday watching Kamen Rider Dragon Knight on YouTube, and I was really impressed. I'm glad that we had a second but full season adaptation of Kamen Rider since Masked Rider on MMPR and the failed series. The fight scenes were really good, and the show actually won an Emmy for Best Action Choreography. Oh, that's pretty cool. Kyoichi Sakamoto from Power Rangers was the action director and stunt coordinator, and he's been great. I love watching Kyoichi stuff. I truly do. Yodana special, right from there, one of the big reasons why I was such a big fan. He was the I believe writer and director of that. Also, a couple of other great things that Sakamoto has put his fingers on. So cool seeing tons of different writers being introduced each episode and knowing that there is a mirror universe where there is an exact twin of you. They use cars as their attacks and power ups. Stephen Ford as Kit Taylor, Dragon Knight was awesome, and the huge twist of Kit's mirror doppelganger Adam returning as the original Dragon Knight. I love that Kit eventually got his own and new Advent deck as Kamen Rider Onyx, which is a great stealth version of Dragon Knight. Though did choose to continue being a Dragon Knight in the end when Adam decided to permanently retire. To cut this short, it was awesome seeing every established Kamen Rider reunite in the actual final episode that were introduced. I did wish we had a real finale instead of a recap. Anyways, had a blast with this series. A solid B plus, highly recommended. Yeah, I think Stuart, before he got busy, was trying to do that also. He was trying to go ahead and review Ryuki and Dragon Knight back to back. I know he was a big fan of the season for sure. Shout out to Ian for certainly coming through. Thank you very much, Ian. Really appreciate it. He says those two characters are Zach and Billy. I mean, if you have Trini, Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy. Oh, he's talking about the cover of, because I was asking who are these two characters in the background. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right next to the crotch of Jason. And then I think right to the left of Pink. I can't tell who those two characters are. I don't think they're Zach in them, though. I don't think that's Zach and Billy. Maybe it is, though. Maybe it is. Like, is that a lance and an axe in their hand? Maybe it is. All right, let's go back to these questions here. Let me take this off here. There we go. Johnny Marrero, 3 questions here. Are you stoked about the MMPR and Godzilla crossover comic coming up? Yes. I didn't know I needed this in my life until they announced it. How do you feel about the Dino Fury Christmas special being the last episode to air on TV in general? Look, a decent ending to the series for a company that's been never decently promoting Nickelodeon. You know what I'm saying? So I think, I don't know if Nickelodeon's ever going to be pissed about this is the last episode of Power Rangers you gave us. Well, you know what? You haven't been treating us really well over the years. So that's what you get, Nick. No, and I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it for certainly what it was in regards to the Christmas special. Again, I mentioned it definitely got me in the Christmas spirit. Definitely gave me warm, fuzzy feelings. Again, maybe not necessarily the best episode of the season, right? But I enjoyed the way that they handled the Christmas episode for what it was. Are you happy that Power Rangers run on Nick is finally over? Yes, I'm really intrigued to kind of see what the future is going to hold. I don't expect any changes from the format of Dino Fury Season 2, but if we do get a 30th anniversary season on Netflix, even before the Jonathan Entwistle stuff, I do think that's probably where we will see some significant changes, maybe in the format of the storytelling, kind of going forward. So I'm really thankful that the run with Nick is over. And that Netflix will allow any other Power Ranger content after Dino Fury to really have all the creative freedom in the world that it certainly needs. And I guess also depending on how much creative freedom Hasbro wants those creators to certainly have. Power Rangers Legacy. In my opinion, Wild Force is very overlooked and underrated series in the classic Saban Disney era. It was actually one of the darkest seasons of the franchise, and a few times that showed real blood. The whole Cole finding his parents' storyline and discovering that Master Org, who was his parents' old friend, had killed him after growing tired of not getting recognized for his hard work, and seeing Cole's father take his chance of having a family with Cole's mom was intense and mature. I totally agree. Totally agree. I went back and rewatched Wild Force and had a much better appreciation for it after my second go round, after my first go round. We had one of the best traditional team ups with Time Force and the epic 10th anniversary. My only knock to this series was the whole Animus taking the Rangers' powers as a test after believing the Rangers failed to protect Earth and end population because of careless humans. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you. I think Wild Force does get slept on. Were you slightly bummed that the Zord Ascension project that Hasbro last year? Is yet again MMPR with the original Megazord, or did you already expect it? I wasn't bummed because a part of me is like, well, where are you going to start? Right? I feel like if you're going to be starting a huge Zord project like that and you want to kick it off on a great note, you got to go with the most iconic Megazord that's out there, man, and that's just the Dino Megazord, you know? I know some people are like, "Oh, more MMPR," but you know, I sometimes people just have a hard time in swallowing the truth, and the truth is that MMPR has the most impact on pop culture today. I know that there are other people like, can we do something else? Can we? I get that, and I'm sure we will get to that particular point in time. But listen, Hasbro wants to make money. And Hasbro wants to take full opportunity on the idea that we paid $512 million for this franchise. You better damn well believe we're going to do everything in our best to put forth what people want. And while there are some people that, again, are maybe tired of MMPR, those same tired people are probably still buying it, still purchasing it. And if they're not, there are plenty other people that are still buying it and purchasing it. That's where the money is, unfortunately. And not to say that they're not going to get to your stuff or outside of MMPR. They will. They'll definitely take their time getting there for sure. But the money maker, especially when you're launching a big project like the Zord Ascension project, the Dino Megazord is as iconic as they come. That is the first one you should start off with. Nobody wants to see the Mystic Megaforce, the Mystic Force Megazord as the first Zord Ascension project. Like, no, nobody wants to see that. I mean, maybe some people wouldn't mind seeing that, but I think general public, they're like, "What's this? There's there's other Zords out there." No, you got to start with the most iconic one, man, and that's the Dino Megazord. So, I expected it. I kind of expected it. So I decided to revisit the first season of Megaforce online, because I didn't have much to do. So here it is. Did Robo Knight die or not? The final season of Megaforce, which I have to say was actually a solid finale that ended in a cliffhanger, which at the time, since Power Rangers Turbo, I also wanted to see if fans missed details of Robo Knight before Super Mega Fail. We know that the end of Robo Knight's storyline in season 2 implied he had died from saving Orion at the end of Rack is Back Part 2. But during the legendary battle, he's seen with no explanation for like 2 seconds and never seen again. So was that his ghost only there to help out with the battle, or did he survive after all? I'm about as confused since the original airing and still have no idea why Jonathan Zacher adapted Super Sentai suits instead of creating all new suits that were MMPR. I'm assuming that he died. The idea that we see him pop up in the footage, that's all Super Sentai footage. And I just think it's an idea of somebody not doing their homework in regards to continuity or just not caring and just left him in there. So I'm under the impression that he died. So yeah, a legend fail for a particular reason, and I think that's just one of the little less things that they didn't catch and didn't bother to do. Kyle Robbins, what's up, Kyle? Appreciate you coming through. Sounds like I don't know if Kyle's answered or asked a couple of questions on here before or not, but appreciate you coming through. He said, "Hi, I'm Kyle. Would like to ask a few questions if that's okay." More than okay. Welcome to the family, Kyle. What were some of your favorite Evil Rangers, and why do you think they always have the best episodes? They seem to always grow weak after joining the Rangers, aside from a few that never became good. I was a big fan of Trent from Dino Thunder. I really loved Evil Ranger. I thought he was pretty badass, honestly. I mean, outside of the classic Tommy and stuff, Trent for me was always one of my faves. How do you feel about fans creating fan films or fan series of Power Rangers, and why a majority of them seem to make better storylines than the actual TV series and have better video quality? Do you wish that the show itself would borrow from fans if asked for paid for it? No, I don't want them to ask anything from fans. Um, I like the idea of fans creating their own fan films. I truly do. They're really fun to watch. I think they're super creative. They can be rather intense. I really do love getting an opportunity to see fans create their own Power Ranger stories. I think that's wonderful for the franchise. It just continues to put more content out there for Power Ranger fans to absolutely love. So yeah, if you're a fan and you're creating fan films, keep doing what you're doing, man. You guys are doing some great work out there. As far as why a majority of them seem to make better storylines than the actual TV series, um, and have better video quality. So a majority of them have better storylines because Power Rangers is handcuffed to a lot of other things, right? Nickelodeon handcuffs them. Having Super Sentai footage handcuffs them, right? Some fan films are so cool. Why? Because they're original content, original fight sequences, original storylines. This is the same thing we've been pushing for years, guys. The idea of why people aren't more accepting of the idea of Power Rangers branching away from Super Sentai because it's a hindrance when it comes creatively. Can you write around footage? Absolutely. Could you make more compelling stuff? Absolutely. But again, it comes down to what's the age range you're writing for, right? Some of these fans films aren't writing towards 6-year olds, are they? So they have bigger opportunities. You got to write towards 6-year olds. The production company, or not the production, but the distribution company, or whoever's picking up your content, aka Nickelodeon, they've got rules in place that hinder you from doing potentially what you want to do. So, right, you already got two obstacles that you got to deal with, and then on top of the fact I got to write around Super Sentai footage. That's a mountain to climb. That's a mountain to climb. So it probably is an unfair comparison to compare fan films to Power Ranger content that's currently out there, but it's an understanding as to why majority of them seem to make better storylines than the actual television series. They don't have these obstacles that they got to worry about. It's a lot more freedom when you're just creating something of your own. Do you wish that the show itself would borrow from fans if asked or paid for? No, because I think they've got the writers to do it. Um, and I think they're more than capable of doing that if given. If you were to tell me that Becca and Alwyn had the same freedom as the fan film creators, they would give us better than what these fan film writers are giving us. You can burn me at the stake for saying that if you want to. There's a reason why they are professional writers. So I do think the idea that, is it cool, the idea of, hey, maybe we should ask a fan? No, I think these writers can come up with what's more than capable. They are professional writers for a reason, and I think if they had the freedom that a fan film writer had, they would produce a better content than even some of the fan films that we have out there. Not to say that the fan films are weak. They've got some great storylines out there. I'm just saying, don't sleep on what the writers are capable of doing, because to be fair, I think it's I think we can look back to see what, say, writers like Becca and Alwyn have done in previous seasons, and it's been some cringy ass shit before, right? But now that you see Hasbro coming in, taking off some of the creative handcuffs, right? Allowing them to do things differently, it's not as cringy anymore, right? It's because you're taking away some of these creative handcuffs and allowing them to really push the envelope a little bit more. Now, can you imagine them getting even more creative freedom going over to Netflix? I mean, granted, you still have some obstacles riding towards a particular age range if they certainly need to. At least the idea of Nickelodeon not forcing them to do things is out of that way, but you still have the creative challenge of riding around Super Sentai footage sort of thing, right? So we have seen improvement from them. So I do think that again, if the writers that we have now had that same type of freedom, we would definitely be getting that same level of writing. Adam Perea, here's why Once in a Ranger was great. Did you answer a question? I feel like did I get your question already? Yeah, I already got one of your questions, Adam. Um, and that's a long one too. So I'm gonna have to hold off on that one, Adam. Maybe for after the new year. I will keep that as a new question though. Adrian, what's up, Adrian? Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are ready for the holidays with your friends and family. It is 9 a.m. here when you read this on Saturday U.S. time. My wife and I survived our week of quarantine here in Sydney. Hey, enjoy Sydney, man. Enjoy it for sure. A lot of people in the fan base tend to say that Justin from Turbo was controversial and the worst thing to happen in Power Rangers. I've seen some very polarizing comments about him going from being the worst character in PR and the main reason that Turbo was really bad to him being a fresh breath of fresh air to some and the best character in the season. Justin's a little bit forgetful for me. I mean, I appreciate the chance that Saban took in regards to that. As a fan, back in the day, I think it was just my jealousy of like, how come this kid gets to become a fucking Power Ranger and I don't? But it was still even weird, growing up watching it. Like this kid turns into an actual adult body when he changes. I don't, I haven't wanted to go back and rewatch Turbo for many reasons because it was just I was not the biggest fan of that season, and it's hard for me to watch. Um, some people will love Justin, others certainly won't. I didn't really care for him as a character, though. I really don't. You say I have to say I disagree with both statements. Unfortunately, he's usually just there, never really in the forefront of both teams. There weren't a lot of episodes focused on him, and the few ones that did were just fine, nothing deserving special praise or hate. Well, that's a good. I like your point of view, man. I like your point of view. Nothing to get upset about, right? Like he's just a character, man. I get it. Says maybe the fact that he was a kid gave him a special treatment from the adult cast. I think there's a level of jealousy probably baked into that too. But to me, he was just like any other team members who was not the leader or the focus very much. I do know that Justin tended to act like he was a genius on the team, and that some of the Rangers themselves acted like he was older than them. Yeah, maybe just the idea of him hanging around a bunch of like high school kids, like it was just weird. It was a little bit weird. We all know that Blake himself being a tough pill to swallow nowadays, especially his past online harassments to Abraham from Beast Morphers, which he's apologized on several occasions for, and Abraham has accepted his apology. I do think he was cool Ranger, and besides, what kid at the time did not want to be a Power Ranger? Exactly. Him getting taller every time he morphed was cringy and made no sense at the time, though I really enjoyed his return in True Blue on In Space, which his character was written much better. I totally agree, and gave a much more closure into the finale. We got a brief tongue-in-cheek moment with Justin didn't know TJ became blue. I also love that his former vehicle, the Storm Blaster, allowed him to morph into a Ranger again by being linked to the car's power from the morphing grid. That was pretty cool. Any favorite morphers from past Legacy seasons? I was always a big fan of Zeos. And I will say, while I wasn't the biggest fan of Turbo, I did love fucking Turbo's Morpher. I thought their Morpher was badass. Thanks everyone, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah, same to you, man. Thank you, Adrian, for your questions. And then last but not least, we've got AJ. What's up, AJ? He's got a couple questions. You obviously already talked about the Christmas special, by the time you read this, but personally, I really enjoyed the episode. It was definitely a much better Christmas episode than previous Nickelodeon era seasons, and a great way to use a clip show. And so cool to see Chance actually sing on the show right at the beginning, which I hope he does more in season 2. I agree with you. It was fantastic to see the Rangers actually morph downtown and fight. That's right, they were like outside on the red carpet, all the Christmas decorations. It was pretty cool to kind of see them do that. I do still wish that it was before the finale, so the actual season finale felt more like a great lead-in to season 2. I will agree with you there, but I didn't mind this so much as just like an epilogue. You know what I mean? As just a cherry topping, if you will. Do you remember when we got that holiday special back, a holiday episode back in MMPR season 3, when we were introduced to the old versions of Tom and Kat as a married couple and had the adult son who was a Power Ranger and had a great kid, had a grandkid. Damn, I have to go back and check out that one again. The actual episode had the Rangers and other people arguing about which national holiday was better: Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Christmas. Happy Hana Kwanzaa Christmas. Happy Hana Kwanzaa Miss Christmas Hana Kwanzaa. I don't know how they do it. There's something out there that like merges all 3 holidays together. It's interesting we never got any more holiday episodes like that in modern day Power Rangers, because it could be a sensitive topic today. I don't necessarily know if it would be. I think Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa are so recognized now. I think it would be pretty fun. Like, I literally just watched, and don't laugh at me, it was just on television and I never changed it. But I just watched a boy band's Christmas or some shit like that. Like, ABC did this special where they were bringing back like all these old school boy bands to celebrate Christmas. It was like a little Christmas special and stuff. They had like fucking NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Boys to Men, New Edition, 98 Degrees, O Town. Like, they had a bunch of old school boy bands on there. And mind you, not even like the big popular people from those bands, right? It was like second tier, third tier boy band group members coming in to celebrate the holidays. But it was pretty cool. But you know what? One segment that they had was they sat down and they were talking about how do you guys celebrate Christmas, right? Like, what are some of the things that you guys do? And there was like, I think one of the Boys to Men members said that they don't celebrate Christmas, but they celebrate Hanukkah. And they were explaining like how they blend Hanukkah and their Christmas sort of together and stuff. I think somebody might have celebrated Kwanzaa. So I think it's pretty cool. I think the idea of recognizing how other people celebrate their holidays, because not everybody celebrates Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, but at least seeing how other people celebrate it, like for me, I think it's pretty cool. The idea of like what's better, I like clearly everybody's gonna think their own holiday is better, sort of thing. So I don't mind if it's like playful sort of thing. And I think if you can make it into like a playful sort of segment, even as like this ABC special wind up doing, I don't think it would be that sensitive of a topic. It's just people kind of giving their own points of view and, you know, being open and just having some fun talking about the holidays. So I think that's pretty cool. Whatever happened to Ninjor? We saw him at the end of MMPR season 3. I believe he's pretty much still alive back at his temple. It would have been cool to see him pop up in Ninja Storm, especially in Shamazu Returns, the 2-parter, when Cam borrowed the Rangers power discs to go on a journey to the ancient temple. Yeah, I don't really know what ever happened to Ninjor. I wonder if that might have been explored in maybe the comic books, and like Shattered Grid, I think might have been the last time that I remember seeing him. But it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But thank you very much for your questions, AJ, and everybody else who participated this week for sure. Let me just reload this. Okay, yeah, just to make sure I got all the questions certainly out of the way. I will jump into the live chat real quick, just briefly. What's up? Oops, that was AJ. I meant to pull up Usai. What's up, Usai? He says, "Happy holidays, Adam and everyone. Hope it's a more phenomenal one." Same to you, man. It's going to be here before we know it. Next weekend, guys, is in fact Christmas. Hard to even wrap my head around, to be perfectly honest with you, but I cannot wait to see what we get. AJ says, "Do you think for Hasbro Reimagined, we will see new Ranger suits that look like Power Rangers, especially if they are based on the legacy seasons?" I think when we see the new suits, they will look like, you will say, "Oh yeah, those are definitely Power Rangers inspired." You know, if anything, if there's going to be any influences, if anything, I think the main influences will probably be the MMPR suit. Um, but I do think it'll have its own variation, its own iteration of it. Maybe taking some influences from past seasons too, here or there, like maybe little designs around the gauntlets. Maybe little designs on the belt or something. Maybe the morpher might take something away from other series and things like that. I think, but I'm not expecting a copy and paste from the new Power Ranger suits, but I could see more of an influence from MMPR and then maybe little Easter eggs on the suits that pay homage to other seasons. But I do think we'll get all original, brand new Ranger suits. Adam says it would not be a surprise if this was the only ancient project. Ascension project. I think there'll definitely be more. I mean, I think just from the Fan First Friday, they already talked about the idea that there are more things in the works. So I don't think that's going to be its only project. I mean, look, it was already sold out on the Hasbro Pulse website, right? So people are purchasing this thing. Um, I purchased mine from Entertainment Earth. I tried to do it through GameStop, but they were being funky, and for some reason, like my purchase was not going through. So I just said, screw you, GameStop, and took my business elsewhere to Entertainment Earth and purchased it there. Um, so yeah, there's definitely some out there for you guys if you're interested in checking it out. But there definitely are more things certainly coming for sure. Adam asks if I was a fan of the 2015 bootleg rated R fan film on YouTube. I remember JDF said it wasn't Power Rangers, that kids would be influenced in a bad way. I was a fan of it. I thought it was pretty cool. I love the idea of it being pushed to its limits for sure. That type of Power Ranger involvement's not going to be a big fan of everybody. Clearly, it wasn't a fan of JDF, and that's fine if he wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think it would influence kids in the bad way. Kids honestly probably even shouldn't be watching that shit, especially if it's rated R. Like, come on, parents, what are we doing these days? But even if they do watch it, I get it, but it doesn't mean you can't put it out there. You know what I mean? You can't censor somebody from wanting to be creative and put what their vision of Power Rangers for adults should certainly be, right? Like I think that was made specifically for adults, not for kids. Maybe it rubbed JDF certainly the wrong way, but I think you can't stop somebody from putting out their own creative content. And so for me, it was pretty fun. Like if I wanted to see what Power Rangers looked like in a much more darker, mature world, I could see that being Power Rangers. Definitely didn't feel Power Rangers. Um, it definitely felt more like a very much more mature show with the references to that of Power Rangers. Um, but I enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, to each their own. You say Austin St. John, on the other hand, liked it, but yeah, it was very dark and gritty. Yeah, it's to each their own. AJ says, "How did you feel when Liana said yes to do your interview a couple years ago?" I was pretty floored. I didn't think she was even going to give me the opportunity or a chance, but she's been incredible, man. So I was really thankful for that opportunity. She clearly helped me bring eyes to my channel. Hopefully, I wind up bringing eyes to her book and some of the projects that she was certainly working on. So yeah, definitely mutually beneficial, but incredible. And she's a really super sweet person too. I absolutely loved speaking with her. Marcelino says, so no A plus hero report this week. No, there will be a plus hero report this week. It's next week for the holidays that we will not be having one. All right, guys. I think other than that, I think that we'll go ahead and wrap it up for us here today. So, thank you very much, guys, for continuing to join us each and every weekend. Again, just so you guys know, no live episode next weekend because it is, in fact, the holiday season. I'm wanting to try and come back January 1st, but we'll see because I just realized that is New Year's Day. My folks are certainly still going to be in town. So, I'll let you know as we get closer to New Year's what the schedule is certainly going to be like. If we don't come back that Saturday, maybe we do a double billing on Sunday for A Plus Hero Report first and then A Plus More Phenomenal that weekend. Who knows though, but I'll let you know what the schedule is certainly looking like because of the holiday season as of right now. But regardless, we definitely will be back here within a week or two, and we'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. But in the meantime, listen, aside from when we come back, don't worry about that. You guys go out there, enjoy your holidays to the fullest, to your friends, your family. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, just enjoy the holiday spirit that's certainly out there. Enjoy bringing in the new year together with your loved ones as well. And I definitely will be seeing you guys when I see you. And of course, we'll have new content throughout the rest of the week as it winds up dropping. Ultraman, Zenkaiger, hopefully some Avataro news and updates for you guys also. So definitely go ahead and look out for that. But until then, do us a big favor. If you haven't followed us yet on social media, you can do so right here at the bottom at A Plus Opinions. Very active over on Twitter. You can find us also on our main Facebook page as well as Instagram. And I think we've been starting to do our live showings again over on Twitch for you guys also. So definitely go ahead and check us out there. But until then, do me a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A plus. I'll talk to you guys later. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, guys. Bye.